Loan Pronto, 2,800 five-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences, Incorporated.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Starting to heat up out there. Our highs in the low 90s for this afternoon. Humidity is beginning to climb a bit as well. Lots of sunshine for it today. And it's fairly bright but hot and humid for the weekend. Highs Saturday and Sunday are in the mid-90s. And late day Sunday, we could see some scattered storms.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 621 points to 50,940. This hour of the drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. AllStarDogTraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today. Again, visit AllStarDogTraining.com. Schedule your free evaluation today.
Stankoven is going to come up with a steal. Stankoven, stuff, chance on her foot. He scores! Oh, the tank! Logan Stankoven into the zone. Drop Jankowski. He scores! Mark Jankowski has tied it up here. Back here. Gostisbehere. He scores! Give it to the captain. He directs it home. Send it cross shot. Game over! Seth Jarvis wins it in overtime.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. I can listen to those highlights all day. The Carolina Hurricanes had us on the edge of our seats. I'm not going to lie. There was some concern, but they showed why we talk so highly of their culture. We talk so highly of their coach. We talk so highly of their leadership, because when they were on the brink of going down 0-2 and setting the odds tremendously against them in the Stanley Cup Final, they said, oh, no. We've got some tricks up our sleeve. They score. They give up a score. They score for the win in overtime. Series 1-1 headed to Vegas. That's what we call Carolina Hurricanes hockey. Not all pretty, but you scored one more than the other team when you needed to. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. Is anybody else exhausted but also wired at the exact same time?
Still buzzing.
You have like bloodshot eyes that won't close. You're exhausted and wired. That's how we described it. As we said, this is The Drive. And you're darn right. The Big 3 at 3 is going to be all about Game 2 and the victory for the Carolina Hurricanes. So it is presented by Maynard Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Check them out online, MaynardServices.com. It's time for the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
If the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's still if at this point, if the Carolina Hurricanes can put together the run they need to to win the Stanley Cup, history will look back on certain turning points, certain moments where things flipped in their favor. So the big 3 at 3 today will be 3 of the biggest turning points from Game 2. Because obviously when you're down 2-0 going into the third period and you win 4-3 in overtime, something turned somewhere in there. And the number 1 is not going to be hidden. It's Logan Stankoven's goal, but more specifically, Logan Stankoven's effort to acquire the puck and put himself in position to score the goal that made it 2-1. Now, we can talk about how it got the crowd into it. We can talk about how it gave the Canes life. We can talk about how Logan Stankoven has been the catalyst for so many of the best performances that the Canes have put together this postseason, going back to the very first series. But it's not just the fact that he scored the goal. It's the way that guy plays. And everybody talks about his height, right? Because he's listed at 5'8", and he's probably not quite that. Do you know what?
He's admittedly like 5'7.5".
Yeah, we don't have to get into the
On a good
nitty-gritty.
day.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's when he's stretched out and wearing Air Maxes. To me, it's his weight that's more impressive. Go back and watch, because it's on every highlight in the world, him retrieving the puck off the lost faceoff and scoring the goal. The guy he takes the puck from is Rasmus Andersson. That's an over 200-pound player. Logan Stankoven is listed as 165. He puts Anderson up on 1 foot. He uses the physicality. He's the guy putting more pressure. He's the guy, force times mass equals whatever. He's the one that's putting the force into the player. He gets Anderson up on 1 foot, and while he is, meaning Anderson is, off balance, Logan Stankoven's taking the puck, heading in the other direction, and scoring a goal. That's effort, that's fearlessness, that's refusal to believe the stereotypes about the type of player you have to be. That is a bulldog. And Rod Brindamore, who, doesn't know what it's like to play as a 5'8", 165-pound guy, but knows a little bit about what it's like to play like a bulldog, he had this to say about Logan Stankoven getting that play at that moment for his team.
Rod, you mentioned Stankoven making a play. I mean, how does a guy that size get it done like that, win a puck battle and turnover and score a goal like that?
Can't measure that stuff. It's just he just keeps doing it night in, night out, and determination, all that stuff. It's pretty amazing.
If you couldn't hear it, that thumping sound was Rod Brindamore pounding his chest as if to say heart. You can't teach that stuff. Logan Stankoven has it in spades. He's got a surplus. He's got extra.
By the way, when we do a Friday Soundoff, we will still accept Logan Stankoven apologies.
I mean, let's talk about it. Actually, this may go on longer than I was anticipating. We do have a Friday Soundoff coming up. We're going to open up the phone lines in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll let you know when. But if you want to talk positively, if you want to tell us your experience, if you want to tell us why you think the Canes were able to pull it off, if you want to talk about Game 3 tomorrow or the rest of the series, we are going to open up the phone lines. Logan Stankoven, the chip on his shoulder is going nowhere. Now, don't get me wrong. Dylan Larkin's a great player. If you're talking right now about the need to replace Logan Stankoven, after he is, I'm not kidding, he is the reason you had a chance to win that game yesterday. Maybe there's like a sober conversation you can have about a trade for whoever, but not today. The Stanley Cup Final is still alive. It is a tie series because when everything in the world looked bleak for the Carolina Hurricanes, Logan Stankoven said, I'm not okay with that, and I am going to change it. That is an unbelievable individual effort by him, followed up by other unbelievable efforts by teammates. Do not get me wrong. It's not like he did it by himself, but he sparked it and he turned it by himself. And if you choose today to talk about his shortcomings, no pun intended, I got nothing for you. The guy's proving himself in real time. Was that he's now solo third. Oh no, actually tied for second He's tied for second with Eric Stahl for second most goals in a single postseason by a Carolina Hurricane, and he still has at least 3 more games to go. Yeah, we'll accept apologies for those of you that spoke badly about Logan Stankoven. That's number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
At first, I thought this was going to be a joke, but it might be real. Slightly before the Logan Stankoven goal, something happened in the arena. Something happened at the Lenovo Center. The Carolina Hurricanes, who, by the way, marketing, bold decision, down 0-2, third period, they threw the tarps off for the boys gimmick on the Jumbotron and just started showing different individuals in various degrees of fitness on the Jumbotron that were willing and able to take their shirt off, spin around their head like a helicopter.
Tarps off, baby. Let's go.
Tarps off for the boys.
Tarps off, baby.
And then nearly immediately after that, from down 0-2, the Canes scored. The Canes scored again to tie it up. And I mean, if you're telling the story, it seems causal, right? It seems like this happened, thus this and this happened, right? What is it? Ad hoc, ergo proctor hoc, after, therefore, because of. Until you hear Jarvis in the postgame asked about it, and Seth Jarvis is going like, yeah, that actually was responsible for it. If you don't believe me, hear it from Jarvis himself.
That's the best thing about them. They're crazy. It's an amazing atmosphere to play in, and to have people like that, it's not warm in there. So to take your tarps off and kind of get the crowd going and get the energy going, that's kind of what kickstarted our whole little press there in the third.
It kick-started the whole little press there in the third. That whole little press there that he's talking about is going from down 0-2 to tying the series at 1-1. Was kicked off by the confidence in their bodies gentlemen that were willing to go tarps off for the boys. And then, by the way, because I actually monitored it, there were a couple packs of them near where we were in the arena. I monitored them. Those tarps did not go back on.
No, they stayed off.
And there's an overtime. There's an intermission between overtime. That was not a short amount of time between tarps off to game ending, and tarps did not go back on. I've been watching some of the videos from all the chanting in the parking lot after the game. There's some tarps off there, so they did not go back on. Perhaps still, who knows? Credit to the fans for staying in it. That is number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Needless to say, if the Carolina Hurricanes go on to win the Stanley Cup, the Seth Jarvis goal in overtime is going to be looked at as one of those moments. The final goal, the igniting the celebration, the nail in the coffin for that particular game. And it aligns with what we were saying pregame, which is the quote-unquote top line, which got shuffled up and left a little to be desired during the game. They don't have to make all the plays. Canes have some depth that can help out with that, but they got to make the play. Aho, one of the assists. Jarvis, the goal. They're on the power play, so it was kind of top-line-ish, even though the top line had been shaken up during 5-on-5 play. But do you know who I want to highlight? Shane Gostisbehere.
Yeah.
The setup. The little nuance where in real time when you're watching it, because you're white knuckling your chair and you're tense and you're ready to scream, you might not notice it, but then because it's the game-winning goal in a Stanley Cup Final game, you're going to watch it 7,500 times. You notice the little where his eyes were, how his body posture was. I'm talking Shane Gostisbehere, who had the primary assist, and you recognize that all of the Vegas Golden Knights were prepared and maybe even anticipating that Gostisbehere was going to shoot the puck, and all with the little, just the tiny little body language saying, I'm going to let this thing fly. And then at the last second, pump fake Gostisbehere shoves it on over to Seth Jarvis, who knows his guy. He was ready and waiting. Lets it fly on the one-timer, and game Canes. And if you go back and, again, you watch it, I don't know if he gets the angle. I don't know if Carter Hart isn't pinned to that post a little bit better. If Shane Gostisbehere doesn't just make that hint of super wily veteran body language that opens up everything for the goal. And then Jarvis takes advantage of it and says, appreciate the extra few inches of space there, Ghost. That's all I need. And he pots it for the goal and enters celebration mode.
Look at the last 3 overtime winners for the Carolina Hurricanes these playoffs. Game 2 against Montreal, Nick Ehlers. Game 3 in Montreal, Andrei Svechnikov. Game 2 last night, Seth Jarvis. Like as much flack as we've given about the lack of production for those top guys, with the exception of maybe Ehlers, who's produced them when it's mattered?
Big and
like that's the thing. Like we got to keep that in mind.
Aho was the net front screen.
He was
on Jarvis's. He got the secondary assist. That like the guys, they sensed the moment a little bit.
Yeah, and Aho had the first goal in the game 4 against Montreal. Like again, the overall production hasn't been there the way you want to, but when they've produced, they've produced in some big moments.
And actually, that's going to lead us into our next conversation, which we're going to have right after the break, which is the depth was there. Fourth line, blue line, the depth was there. And that's always going to be the Carolina Hurricanes superpower. How did the depth power their win in Game 2 when they absolutely had to have it? Stick around to find out.
A bull riding contest. I'm signing up.
You've never ridden a bull.
No, but I won playing a new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-off, and I'm on a roll.
But they're loaded with $50, $100, and $200 prizes.
Oh, I'm riding the Widowmaker.
Go for the win with new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-offs and digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.72 to 4.75. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically the Fox & Bailey watch shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Now here's the deal. Everybody that's been on a watch buying journey knows it's not always a straight line. It's not always linear. Sometimes your tastes change. And while you may have a luxury watch that you've loved, a luxury timepiece that you have dreamed of, but your tastes are changing. So, Bailey's Fine Jewelry is actively buying luxury timepieces. Your Rolex, Cartier, Panerai, Hublot, Omega, Breitling, Tudor, Patek, Audemars Piguet. If you have had it, you've enjoyed it, and now it's time for someone else to have the same experience while you move on to your next Grail watch, the next thing on your wish list. Stop in today to speak with one of their experts, their talented watch experts at the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop to talk about selling or consigning a watch. It's all at Fox & Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location.
As this is sent in, Ehlers goes diagonal for Aho. They'll go back and forth with it. Aho along the right wing boards. Back up top, it's Gostisbehere. Send it across. Shot. Game over! Seth Jarvis wins it in overtime!
That's the best thing about them. They're crazy. It's an amazing atmosphere to play in, and to have people like that, it's not warm in there. So to take your tarps off and kind of get the crowd going and get the energy going, that's kind of what kickstarted our whole little press there in the fifth.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Shout out to Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy. I hung out with Mike a little bit before the game yesterday. We were just shooting the breeze about the game. And you can tell how much he cares about the Canes, about this run, about doing a great job for all of you, and then seeing the booth cam for the game winner, he and Trip and how they're enjoying it. I'm happy for those guys. So keep tuning into 99.9 The Fan and the 99.9 The Fan app for Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy's call, because it's worth it. Also, be ready to be a part of the conversation in the 4 o'clock hour. We have a Friday Soundoff coming up. We're opening up the phone lines to discuss everything going on in sports, which obviously includes quite a bit of the Canes last night. Around 4:15, maybe 4:20, because we have a cup check-in today. We will open up the phone lines for a Friday Soundoff, and we would love for you all to be a part of it. Let's talk the conversation around the top line, because going into the game yesterday, it was, if you bumped into a Canes fan, I mean, the first sentence was, hey, how's it going? You go into the game. The second sentence was, top line's got to get going, doesn't it? What's going on with the Aho line? Well, guess what? It wasn't all good yesterday. I think Aho was better. Obviously, Jarvis made the play of the day, the game winner in overtime. They had to shuffle up the lines, right? They did eventually go to Jarvis and Martinook flipping, which is the same thing they did in the Philly series for a quick beat. Which, by the way, I don't think the switching actually had anything to do with the 2 goals, but it is 100% of the time when you switch Jarvis off the top line, he scores in that game. It's in this postseason, right? It happened in the Philly game, and it also happened in this one. Again, I don't know if the switch had much to do with either because Jarvis was fresh off the bench in the first, and obviously this one was a power play in overtime, but maybe there is something there. The top line, the Canes didn't, and we said it yesterday. They don't need the full best 100% version of that line every game. They need a few big star plays. Because the superpower for the Canes is and will be, as long as the roster looks the way it does, the depth. And, there's a million ways to quantify it. But some of you probably see it on social media. These hockey stat cards get passed around, and it's got bar graphs with a bunch of different ways to evaluate players. When it comes to the forwards for the Canes last night, numbers 1, 2, and 3, Carrier, Jankowski, Robinson. Fourth line. Those were, according to Hockey Stat Cards, the 3 best forwards for the Carolina Hurricanes. Jankowski scores a goal. Carrier deserves 50% of it at least for setting it up and making the pass from his hindquarters. Robinson is constantly putting pressure and using speed, and they're the fourth line. When Logan Stankoven, who's a part of the hottest line in the NHL this postseason, when Logan Stankoven scores the first and you're looking for that, 1 goal and this place is going to erupt, you're not exactly going, well, it's going to be an awesome pass from Carrier to Jankowski, who's going to go bar down. But with the Canes, it's always a possibility. With the Canes, it's always on the table. And so that happens. Then on a power play, even though the top line is a power play unit, you have Stahl deflecting the shot from Gostisbehere for the goal. So you get a goal from the Stankoven line. You get a goal from the fourth line. We'll count the Stahl, even though it was on a power play, as a goal from the Stahl line. And you get a goal in overtime from the top line. Power play, but we'll count it because it's Jarvis. All 4 lines get a goal. When that happens, you don't need the top line to put on capes. You just need them to be noticeable, which I would say they were noticeable. And even somebody like I think Aho had one of his better games in a while. Obviously, Jarvis scored the winner, but even somebody like Svech had no shots on goal. Right? I think when Svech is playing his best, he has a bunch of shots on goal. Right? I'm not saying he's got to score a billion goals, but I think he's just constantly making the goalie think. He wasn't finding the net or even, making the goalie make saves, but he had 7 hits. That's the definition of do something good. Give me something, right? If it's not working, if you don't have the distance, if it's not coming off the stick correctly, whatever, go ahead, do something good. He had 7 hits. They at least, you knew when they were on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, that's usually good enough because you can lean on everybody else for the things that they do well in their matchups. That's 4 goals from 4 different lines. The top line just needed to make the most important.
Yeah.
That's the ingredients there. That's the equation.
That's the shuffle. Even with Svechnikov, like you said, didn't have any shots on goal. He still had 7 shot attempts. A couple were blocked, several that missed the net as well. But at least the mindset was shooting. I mean, Sebastian Aho, I think, had 9 shot attempts in the game yesterday. They had the mindset of putting the puck on the net.
And you never know. I like to name my theories. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of like the jelly jar theory, right? Stanky got the goal. Jankowski got the goal. But the top line's looking around like, we loosened it for you. Because, like when you're opening the jelly and you try, you give it to someone else and they go, you're like, well, hey, come on. I loosened it for you, which is usually a joke. But could be true in this situation, right? If you make Carter Hart work, if you make the blue liners work, if you make them think, you do that for a couple shifts in a row, the next shift might be the one to score the goal, but you don't realize how much you helped on that. Now we do have to get into some of the questions. Dennis, was the no goal that was reviewed correct? Is that the correct decision? Let me get through that because obviously that is one of the questions being debated out in the streets.
I'll be honest, I'm torn on it because if I'm a player on the ice and that was me hacking out the puck, that's a goal. That's 100% a goal. But the thing we have to keep in mind is the phrase is intent to blow the whistle. Mm-hmm. So people always say, like, well, why'd you wait to blow the whistle? Sometimes if you're skating in, you're trying to come to a stop, you're like, I'm trying to blow the whistle. I might get bumped by somebody. I'm trying to avoid somebody. It's like, no, I was planning on this coming from an official's perspective. This is when I was planning on blowing the whistle. But I also understand why the ref called what he called. Mm-hmm. The puck's under Freddie. You see Barbashev poking his stick underneath Frederick Anderson, and then all of a sudden the puck squirts through on the other side. That's making contact with the netminder, and the puck isn't visible. And we have seen the puck get whistled dead quickly plenty of times in hockey. Plenty of times. So to me, when you make that call as an official and you try and go back and challenge it, it's one of those things that there has to be something extremely conclusive, has to be conclusive evidence to turn it over. You didn't have that on a review. So again, if I'm a player, 100% that's a goal. 100% if I'm Vegas. And I don't blame Tortorella for challenging it. I genuinely don't.
Here's my official take. I don't care if it's bad call. Bad call. I mean, and I'm not saying it was or it wasn't, but I'm saying if you think it's a bad calls happen, right? And it's not as egregious, but there were some screenshots out there from the first Vegas goal where it really appeared as if what was it? Howden had the Walker stick in his left hand.
Yeah,
pretty darn well possessed. And to me, if you go back and change every bad call, particularly ones that are really difficult to review, then you're gonna have to all right, fine, cool. Let's fix the refs. Let's go back in retrospect and debate every single call, and then we'll see what the final score was. Bad calls happen. I'm not saying it was or wasn't a bad call, but I'm saying bad calls happen. And then once you're on the power play, right, your penalty kill could have bailed you out. It happens. So I see both sides of the argument when it comes to the letter of the law of the rule and how it was applied. And the point's been debated. The intent to blow the whistle at time, it's a little different than an inadvertent whistle or something that happens in other sports where it's like the play has to be dead because the whistle blew and guys stop playing. It's not that because nobody heard the whistle, but if his intent was to blow the whistle, that's it. It's over. The play's done. And yes, I do think it's worth mentioning that just bad calls happen. And, as a athlete of any kind, you have to learn to control what you can control. And if that's the reason why the Vegas Golden Knights weren't able to regroup and go win a game, then that's something they have to work on in their culture.
If it was I always say this in sports is that's not the reason why they lost. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? You still got to overtime. And it's anyone's game at that point. There's also no guarantee if that call, let's say it is counted as a goal. Who's to say that Carolina doesn't tie it and come back and tie it? You don't know. You can't just say, well, that completely decided the game because you can't say what is definitively going to happen after that.
The butterfly effect, right?
Yeah, you can't definitively say.
You put a goal there, maybe Nikishin's more aggressive and he pots 3 of them.
You never know.
And you win by double figures before overtime even, not double figures, multiple goals before overtime even starts. You can't tell me it wouldn't happen because we don't have a time machine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, and just to put a bow on it, because Dennis said as a player he'd be mad, I'm completely fair saying, if it happened to the Canes, I'd be on here yelling about how bad of a call it was. You got to acknowledge your own homerism in all of this.
Absolutely.
I would be mad, but I do believe the way that the Canes are, if a call like that would have gone against them, they weren't losing that game. You know what I mean? They were going to find a way to win it based on their culture, and they would have controlled what they can control, while I was up in the stands typing up something really mean tweets about how bad of a call it was. They'd be on to the next play because that's the way that they operate.
And if I'm a Carolina player, it's under my goalie. We blow the whistle.
Oh, yeah. I might even be yelling, whistle, whistle, whistle.
Absolutely.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Thing as a motorcycle rider that you want to try to eliminate is any questions that might be out there. Well, is this the right move? Is this the right thing? You want to avoid all those variables. You want to try and put situations in your hands as a motorcycle rider. That way you are safe out there on the road. You want to be in control as much as possible. Part of being in control is obviously keeping a safe distance around other vehicles that are on the roads, but also making sure that you have an escape anytime you're out there on the road. And variables are always going to change. You go from a 1-lane road to 2 lanes to a 4-lane highway. Things are always going to be a little bit different. You always have to be measuring and analyzing what's my escape in case someone cuts me off or something falls off the vehicle in front of me or someone runs out in the middle of the road. Always be ready to pivot. Always be ready to have an escape. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Insurance companies want to give you the least amount possible, whereas Law Tigers, they're riders too. Your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Gets to 2 minutes of gold and the Dean's List coming up next.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots?
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run. Because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-206-0781 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-206-0781. That's 800-206-0781. What do you have to lose? Call 800-206-0781. Again, 800-206-0781.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
Stankoven is going to come up with the steal. Stankoven, stuff, chance on her foot. He scores! Oh, the tank! Logan Stankoven puts Carolina on the board. It's 2-1, and Lenovo centers come to life.
Just you mentioned Stankoven making a play. I mean, like, how does a guy that size get it done like that? Win a puck battle and turnover and score a goal like that?
Can't measure that stuff. It's just he just keeps doing it night in, night out, and determination, all that stuff. It's pretty amazing.
That's Rod Brindamore talking about Logan Stankoven. I've joked that when football coaches after a game go to shake hands, when the opposing team goes, you got a heck of a physical football team. That's like the best compliment head coaches can get. Whatever Rod Brindamore just said and pounding his chest to show heart about Logan Stankoven, that's about the best compliment you can give a hockey player. And regardless of Logan Stankoven being undersized or playing out of position or whatever, like if you're talking about Wayne Gretzky in his prime, that's what you want to be saying, right? Just determination and all that. You can't teach heart. Like that is hockey player compliment 1A draft pick right there. So enjoy that, Stankoven and Stankoven supporters. We will open up the phone lines in the 4 o'clock hour if you want to talk Stankoven or anything else in the sports world. Friday Soundoff will be coming your way at around 4:15 or 4:20. Partially because we have a cup check-in with Adam Gold that will be airing around that time. Speaking of Adam Gold, we have yet to give you 2 minutes of gold, which is really 4 minutes today, all about last night's win for the Canes. We call it 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 goals, and then 4 goals, and then 2 big goals, and Carolina is 1-1 after 2. I think we're almost done. It's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers, parkwaysleep.com. It didn't start well for Carolina. Actually, they dominated the first, but still fell behind.
Carolina will drop this in and back the other way. It's Howden with a shot, and he'll score. Vegas sends it the other way, and Howden, who is having the playoff of his life, has scored his 12th goal this postseason. 1-0 Vegas.
Great individual effort from Brett Howden. He has touched the sun in the playoffs, and he did it again in the second.
Brett Howden is having the playoff of his life. It's 2-0 Vegas after Carolina killed off that power play.
2-0 Vegas, and the building is quiet. Silence. A library. And then a bolt of Stankoven.
Stankoven is going to come up with the steal. Stankoven, stuff, chance on her foot. He scores! Oh, the tank! Logan Stankoven puts Carolina on the board. It's 2-1, and Lenovo centers come to life.
Great individual effort. He beats Rasmus Andersson for the puck after a face-off loss. Little lucky on the goal. It goes in off of Jeremy Lauzon, Vegas' defenseman. 2.5 minutes later, old man strength from Will Carrier sets up Mark Jankowski.
Frederick Anderson, he'll settle it down. Kane's cleared out. Will Carrier into the zone. Drop Jankowski. He scores! Mark Jankowski has tied it up here, and the Canes have come back from 2 down. Oh, his first of the postseason, and Mark Jankowski has got this building in a frenzy.
2-2, roof off the place. Vegas would score, they thought. It was ruled out for goaltender interference. John Tortorella challenged. I don't care if he would do it 10 times in a row. Lost the challenge. Carolina gets a power play as a result.
Now Gostisbehere. He'll quarterback it. He'll get it to Jarvis. Left face-off circle. Back to Gostisbehere. He'll keep it in. Walk the blue line. To Jarvis. Jarvis. He'll go across. Hand it here for Gostisbehere. Svechnikov with it. Back here. Gostisbehere. He scores! There's a ghost sighting on the power play, and it puts Carolina up 3-2. Give it to the captain. He directs it home.
Big man in front. Jordan Stahl's deflection was the difference. Carolina gets a power play goal in this economy? And we go to overtime because Mark Stone equalized with about a minute and a half left, and then the power play strikes again.
As this is sent in, Ehlers goes diagonal for Aho. They'll go back and forth with it. Aho along the right wing boards. Back up top, it's Gostisbehere. Send it cross shot. Game over! Seth Jarvis wins it in overtime!
Seth Jarvis, your game winner. We head to Vegas, baby. Vegas, baby. 1-1 in the series. Unbelievable. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, Soundoff for the greatest power play in playoff history, at least the last 2 times.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Just that last little bit from Adam, right? The greatest power play in playoff history. It is, maybe you forget, I guess might be the way, or because we're watching it, and technically it's the same game we always watch, right? It's hockey, it's the same dimensions of the rink, same players. You forget how much the stakes are just bananas. Right, and credit to Trip Tracy, the Canes color commentator right here on 99.9 The Fan, because immediately after Mike Maniscalco gave him the big call for the game winner for Jarvis, Trip was already saying maybe the most important one-timer in Canes history. And you're like, that can't be, but then you think about it, it's in the Stanley Cup Final. It's not like you get there very often, and everything is multiplied by 15 when you get to the Stanley Cup Final. So quite literally, some of the most important plays, especially if they're able to go on and win the Cup, some of the most important plays in team history took place last night. Pretty darn cool. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to the much of the Dean's List, so I'll just give you something real quick here. The ACC-SEC Challenge has put out who will be playing who. We're talking men's basketball. And for the local teams, Duke drew Florida on the road, so they'll be in Gainesville. A rematch of a game this past year, but also ESPN's way too early top 25. That is team number 1 in Florida and number 2 in Duke. Wake got at LSU. I think a lot of people wanted to see NC State at LSU, so State could get some pushback on the Will Wade of it all. But it'll be Wake going to LSU. South Carolina at NC State. There's some maybe. Yeah, we're just going to do this quickly, so it's in session. South Carolina at NC State, some Carolina rivalry there, just cross state lines. And for UNC, they get Arkansas in Chapel Hill.
At home, yeah. By the way, all three Triangle teams play on the same day, December 1st.
That'll be a really fun day.
Yeah, State and Carolina both at home, Duke on the road.
The non-conference schedules are making it very fun, and yes. I respect most of the ACC schools for their willingness to go out there and play actual games. We're not going full Big 12 with this thing, outside of Kansas.
By the way, real quick, Dean's List.
Yep.
Super Regionals have started.
Yep.
UNC's in the bottom of the second right now. They got runners on the corners. With only one out. And let's just say they've now taken a lead.
They're not going to give us a score? You're just going to say
the play hadn't ended yet.
Oh.
So that was,
right,
now it's 1-0.
I was going to say, we'll wait around for that. How
yes,
many?
1-0.
All right, 1-0.
Yes. So
that is against USC, meaning Southern Cal.
Yes.
North Carolina, as I said, as of a couple days ago, the betting favorite to win the College Baseball World Series. Still a lot of baseball left to be played, but it's good to take a lead to start off your Super Regional. Game started at 3.
I said when they had taken the lead, like the ball literally had just hit in the outfield and the runners were still running. So I was like, let me see how this play actually ends.
Left me hanging there, but I appreciate getting the complete story. So
now they got runners on the corners, still one out. up 1-0. They actually had bases loaded, no outs in the top of the first, and didn't get a run across.
That feels kind of Kane's first period. Like, you did everything right. Just the scoreboard didn't reward you for it.
Exactly.
You only gave up 2 shots, and you're down 1-0 somehow. What's going on here? That feels very, very Canes-like. And in the post-game, Rod said that. He's like, if you follow us, it happens a lot. We were playing really well. It just it wasn't showing. It's kind of a thing with us. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here as we dismiss the Dean's List for Maynard Service Company. If that's something that happens a lot for the Canes, well, Maynard Service Company has a lot of things that happen a lot, like great service, like great customer service, like professionalism in your home, right? When you're talking about a company that is working on fixing, maintaining, servicing your heating system, cooling system, maybe plumbing going on in your house or electrical work, they're going to be in your home, right, in your domain. And it's really important to go to a company that respects that, right, whether it's being as tidy as they can be while doing the work, but darn sure leaving it as clean, if not cleaner than they found it, whether it's respecting the privacy of certain areas of your home and being professional in their interactions. That's a given with Maynard Service Company. The highlights are all of the excellent quality work they do on your heating system, cooling system, plumbing, and electrical work. But the everything else just makes you feel like you can trust them because you can. Take my word for it. Maynard Service Company, give them a call, 919-361-0993. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week service all across the triangle. That's all of Wake County and 50 miles in any direction from Wake County. Again, the phone number, 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at MaynardServices.com, MAYNOR services.com. So we know the Canes won Game 2. We've talked about how they've won Game 2. We've talked about the players that sparked the win in Game 2. Well, what did the win in Game 2 spark? How did that change this series? Stick around.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. Summer means road trips, beach weekends, late night drives, and extra miles on your car. Before you hit the road, make sure your vehicle is riding on tires built for the journey. At Chapel Hill Tire, we're your premier destination for premium tires. And right now, when you purchase a full set of Michelin, Pirelli, or Continental tires, installation is free. With 13 Triangle area locations, we make purchasing tires easy and convenient. Schedule your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $12 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment until the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Frederick Anderson, he'll settle it down. Canes cleared out. Will Carrier into the zone. Drop Jankowski. He scores! Mark Jankowski has tied it up here, and the Canes have come back from 2 down season, and Mark Jankowski has got this building in a frenzy.
Yeah, honestly, I was going through my head as well, what are they going to call this one back for? But no, it was great. Obviously, a great play all around by my line mates. Huge for our line to get one, and then we just kept pushing. They obviously tied it up late, but we had a lot of belief in our locker room, and huge for the power play and for Jarve to get that one.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There's a lot of you don't know what's coming your way in the future happening with the Canes. In the smallest kind of zeroed-in example would be Logan Stankoven gets booted from the face-off circle, which allows him to go make the play and steal the puck and end up scoring the goal that sparks everything. In a bigger, little more zoomed-out way, it might be Jankowski has scored 4 goals in the playoffs since being traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. The first 3, 1 last year, 2 this year, were all taken away on review. And he probably felt like he was never going to score. But if you tell him the 4 goals that he's going to score for his first 4 playoff goals in the Canes, and you say you get to pick any one of them to not be taken away, he's taken the one in the Stanley Cup Final to tie it up at 2. Bar down from William Carrier. So it's the lesson the Canes have learned a million times. Stay the course. Regardless of what happens, you get booted from the face-off circle, stay locked in, do your job. You have a bunch of goals taken away by officials' review. Just keep firing, keep doing your best, and eventually one of them is going to stick, and it might be the biggest goal you'll ever score in your life. Here's the deal, everybody. Going into the third period last night, I tweeted this out, and it's kind of jokey, right? Like social media-ish, but it's also, I believe it 100%. I was like, hey, no pressure, Canes. For most of you, this will be the biggest period you've ever played in your entire life, and you're starting it down 0-2. Good luck. And while it's kind of, chuckly, a little jokey to say, 100% true. Unless you're Carrier or Stahl or one of these guys that has played in a previous cup and made it further, going down 0-2 in the series would have been astronomical. I don't believe that it was like over, there's no way you could win, but what I would say is you probably don't win unless Vegas helps you if you're down 0-2, right? They would have to have some blunders. They would have to have some lack of keeping their play up. 1-1, completely different series. I stand by what we said on the show yesterday from outside the Lenovo Center, which is if the Canes come back to Raleigh tied 2-2 or better, I think they win the series. Got a split on the road, which, by the way, the Canes up to this point are undefeated in the postseason on the road. But they just need one out of the 2. It's a whole new series. And I can explain to you all the different ways their backs were against the wall, right? If they went down 0-2, we talked about it yesterday, 91% of the time, a team that goes down 0-2 in the Stanley Cup Final loses that series. So you'd go down to less than 10% chance historically. How about this? The last time Carolina was scoreless at a home game through 2 periods, November 30th. November 30th was the last time they had been held scoreless at home through 2 periods. They have a game where they gotta have it. We called it a must win. It's a you need to win, and they're going into the third period not only having not scored, but having given up 2 goals. Back against the wall. Could have curled into a shell. Could have gone into the fetal position, could have done the opposite and tried to do too much and over-gripped the stick and missed every shot high and everything else. Gone to the penalty box a bunch of times, but the culture worked. And at the last possible second, they started putting things together. And you realize there's a reason why they have won 13 consecutive games following a loss. There's a reason why they haven't dropped back-to-back games, back-to-back home games since January 1st and 3rd. Haven't dropped back-to-back games of any kind since January 12th and 13th. They were down multiple scores in a must-win Stanley Cup Final game, and they flew back, gave it up one time, right? Because the Mark Stone ties it up late, and have the wherewithal to regroup, get to overtime, win it there. There's only one way to get better at something. It's to practice it. It's to visualize it. It's to do it. The Carolina Hurricanes, Dennis, let me ask you this question.
Go on.
4 years ago, did they win that game?
No.
You got to go through the hard times. You got to see it not work. You got to know that you can come back from it, and they're more prepared for that moment now than they have been at any point in the run under Rod Brindamore. The Hurricanes own an all-time record of 37-23 in overtime in the postseason. 37-23 against, by the way, in the postseason, you're not facing scrubs, right? You are facing only the other postseason teams. You're facing good teams. They are 20-11 at home in overtime playoff games. Their overall all-time winning percentage in postseason overtime games is third amongst all teams in the league. Their home rate is number one amongst franchises with more than one home playoff game that went to overtime. There's something in that culture that just makes them fight back, and if it's tied up, they believe to the very, very end. And it's completely changed the series. It's different now. And you know, you hate to see it, right? Every injury stinks, but if McNabb is out or if McNabb is hindered, that's big for them. And all we know now, and again, you wish that's as scary a hit as you can see. Puck up under the visor. That's a scary one. But he is traveling back with the team, but there's no update on his availability or anything. Like, as this goes on, it's going to be players getting banged up, little tweak here, maybe a bigger injury there. With each one, the Canes' depth becomes more and more important. I think it's valuable when it comes to overtime and long series that the Canes are so comfortable playing everybody on their roster. I was sitting next to Brian Murphy of WRAL, and in the overtime, I think it was, two minutes and 30 seconds in or something, and I looked down and it was a face-off with the Jankowski line out there, and I just turned to him and I went, they trust this fourth line so much. It's the first 3 minutes of overtime. They got them out there taking a face-off. Like, this is the Canes' advantage when it comes to these games that just seemingly go on like marathons. That was a wildly important punch to land in the series. And now, it's an old school 5-game series. It's an old school 5-game series. 13 down, 3 to go. Before this year, the most postseason wins that this team had accomplished, in the most recent iteration, right? So going back the 8 years that they've been in the postseason, the most wins in a single postseason this group has had was 9. And that was last year. They now have 13. 3 more, they get to hoist the cup.
It's crazy to think they're 13-2 in their last 15 games.
Tie for the best record through 15 postseason games in I believe, NHL history.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insanely good.
Yes. I agree with the statement. And sometimes it is that simple. I love all the expected goals as much as anybody. A lot of wins and very few losses. Sometimes it's that simple. You're playing well. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will open up the phone lines about 4:20 here on the show. So we're looking at about 25, maybe a little less minutes from now. We will open up the phone lines for a Monday Soundoff. So keep all your Canes, Knights talk right there in your brain. Write it down if you don't want to forget it, because you're going to have a chance to say it on air. Football at 4 coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings that you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org. Once again, that's wakemed.org. Embrace the haze with Hazy Little Thing from Sierra Nevada. If you've ever stayed for the ninth inning comeback, do you know how to time the beer run to still make it back in time for the stretch? If you're up for whatever the game brings, then embrace the haze with Hazy Little Thing. Hazy, citrusy, smooth, brewed with the purest ingredients for finest quality. There's a reason it's America's best-selling hazy IPA. Embrace the haze with Sierra Nevada. Hazy Little Thing. Enjoy responsibly.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Stop by Handy Hugo's for great deals on your favorite Mountain Dew products. Head to Handy Hugo's today.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WREL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Getting into the weekend, feeling a lot more like summer. Still on the comfortable side in terms of humidity today, but highs climb into the low 90s this afternoon under sunny skies. For tomorrow and Sunday, highs in the mid-90s and a bit more humid. We could wrap up Sunday with some scattered storms.
Weather update brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today down 694 points, closing at 50,867.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Haven't done so yet today, so personal favorite time. Please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9. You can jump in our live stream comments. Later this hour, we will get to first goal scorer predictions. So let us know who you think will score the first goal tomorrow for Game 3 for the Carolina Hurricanes, and in what period you think they will score it. Needless to say, nobody had Stanky in the third. There were a lot of Stanky calls, not a lot of Stanky in the third.
I had Stanky in the first.
Close.
We were kind of like combined right yesterday. I'm going to say you and I were combined right yesterday because I said 4-2 win. You said overtime win. I had Stanky as first goal, but it didn't happen in the first period, though. So it's just we were like combined correct.
We're in the right neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're feeling it. We're seeing the field.
Like I got the total goals. You had the overtime. Like we were combined correct yesterday.
I agree with everything. We were close. We're honing in, is what I'm saying, which bodes well for the rest because we both picked the Canes to win the series. So hopefully we are in the right neighborhood, right? I don't care if we get the number of games right. Hopefully we get the team right. Let's just be in the right neighborhood. So all of that to say this, first goal scorer, who's going to score the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period? You can let us know in the YouTube live stream comments. We just need a name and a period. If you want to give more details, if you want to say it's 5-hole, if you want to say it's blocker side high, that's been popular. If you want to say who's on the assist or is it power play, whatever, we'd love those details as well. But the things that are required are who's going to score the first goal and in what period do you think they're going to score it. Now let's get to football at 4. If you are a superstitious person, if you are a somebody who's into vibes and into the cosmos, that's great. I think who's sounding the siren for the Carolina Hurricanes has a little bit more impact than that. It's not just like a horoscope. because as you can tell, if you watched the game or you were lucky enough to be in the building at the game, the crowd does matter. When it gets going, the momentum and everything, it carries over. It's why you see, so much good play happen in bunches. So who's ever on the siren can be responsible for starting off that next period with a little extra juice. Now, I'm not giving them a plus minus. I'm not acting like they're as important as, the person that, won the board battle, but it could be some percentage of impact on the game.
Yeah, sparks the crowd. Or it could be a complete and total dud.
Which is, I think that's actually the bigger issue.
Yes.
It's. I don't know how much a great siren helps. I know a bad siren doesn't help. So Cam Ward was the first siren sounder yesterday, meaning Cam Ward, the goalie from the Canes run to the Cup, who, by the way, on the Jumbotron, he had the ring. He showed everybody. He said, a little reminder of what you guys are playing for. Great job. I actually think the Canes played really well in the first period. They didn't win on the scoreboard, but the domination of offensive zone, shots on goal, all of that kind of stuff happened. So did his job. I do think they might want to stop bringing in, just for like big games, people that have a distinct allegiance to one of the three triangle colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be more of a unifier. Con Knipple gave it his all in game one, but it didn't spark the crowd, right? There just didn't. Antoine Jameson yesterday did a good job, right? Gave it his all, but he's a Carolina guy. He's a Tar Heel. He's not for everybody in the area. And the second period wasn't as good. But then who did they bring in between the second period and the third period? Who did they bring in for intermission? Dan Morgan, Carolina Panthers GM. He does not have an allegiance, at least not that I know of, to one of the triangle teams. Matter of fact, the team he cares about, Miami, is a rival of all of them in the ACC. So he is a Carolina Panther representative on the siren. He did a great job. And the third period was bananas. And the third period, the Canes stormed from behind to take a lead, actually. Did give it back, but it led them into the overtime period. Who, by the way, they had some tarps off for the boys guys do the siren between the third period and overtime, and they score the game winner. So Dan Morgan, I don't know how much credit I'm giving you, but I'm giving you a little bit of credit for turning the room, getting them going. You and Stankoven were the catalyst. Which led me to thinking about, I actually think that was probably like the most Dan Morgan period of the postseason for the Canes. Right? When Dan Morgan took over as the GM of the Carolina Panthers, what was his thing, right? We're going to find dogs. What is the number one way, especially when people don't watch the Canes often and they just watch Logan Stankoven for like 2 games?
Yeah.
They come away going, he plays like a bulldog. It's the number, like that should be his nickname at this point to the national media because everybody says he plays like a bulldog. Isn't that like the karmic, kismic, cosmic, whatever you want to call it, alignment? Dan Morgan talks about, I need dogs. He sounds the siren, and the guy that everybody calls a bulldog immediately makes a bulldog play to go ahead and change the entirety of the franchise. And then you get Jankowski making a play. Mm-hmm. William Carrier from his rear end making the pass. William Carrier is the heaviest 210-pound guy I've ever seen in my entire life. I played in college. My playing weight was 211. I think he's listed at 212.
214.
214. Close enough. I'm just a couple inches taller than him, not a ton. I could have been blown away by a stiff breeze. He is the hardest guy to move, maybe outside of Jordan Stahl on the team. That's a Dan Morgan period right there. Mm-hmm. And then Jordan Stahl scores.
Yeah.
Dog, right? Like just dog. Like it was a Dan Morgan period. So then I'm just in Panthers mode, and I'm looking stuff up, and I see a quote from Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd, brand new Carolina Panther, right? He was I don't want to say late, but it wasn't immediately at the beginning of free agency. But
like later in the day?
Yeah, it was to the point where people are going like, I don't know, they're going to get an off-ball backer, and they got the number one off-ball backer in the free agency market for significantly less than most were expecting his contract to be. So as for all of that, right, excited about Devin Lloyd, you still don't know if he's a dog like the Carolina Panthers are looking for. He was really darn good last year. What was it, for Jacksonville, right? Got his hands on the ball a bunch, 1 billion tackles. Really good player, but, you never know until you get somebody in your locker room. You never know until you interact with them. So he's talking, I got this from Pro Football Talk. He's talking about how they have so much talent on the defense, and I'll actually quote it. Here's Devin Lloyd. I mean, we have so much talent on this defense, and really the team, but specifically for the defense, we got so much talent. So, yeah, it's been all positive talk. And I'm hearing that going, ooh, that doesn't sound Dan Morgan-ish, right? Talking about how talented your team is, talking about how specifically your defense is so talented, and then it turns, right? So he goes, I'll pick it up, the sentence I just read you. Quote from Devin Lloyd. So, yeah, it's been all positive talk, but at the end of the day, talk is cheap. It's about what we do at practice and how we continue to get better every day, and then ultimately what we do on game day. So today was a great start. This was obviously after one of their practices. I think we had a great practice, and it was a step in the right direction. We've got to just continue to build off today. And I went, oh, okay, there's the Dan Morgan of it. Talk is cheap. There's the Dan Morgan. Devin Lloyd as an off-ball backer is going to be wildly important to the Panthers. I don't know if he's going to be their best player on defense. Right, Derek Brown's pretty darn good. J.C. Horn's pretty darn good. They've got some dudes. But if you look at the best Panther teams in history, you're talking Dan Morgan. You're talking Thomas Davis. You're talking Luke Kuechly. Those off-ball backers play a pretty darn important. I mean, we could go on and on. That's not a fully inclusive list, and I don't want to pretend that it is. So pretend all of the off-ball backers that have ever led a really good team for the Panthers, pretend I said it.
Thomas Davis.
Yep. I mean, we could go on and on. He's going to play a really important role, and in a lot of ways, he's going to be tasked with being the Logan Stankoven, the Jordan Stahl, the guys who, when the tough gets going, those guys get grittier and grimier. You don't want Tetero McMillan, right? In a moment of gotta have it. You don't want him going out there and trying to be more physical, right? Like he plays a position where you're going to need him to be more, in a lot of ways, more like suave, right? More athletic, more impactful that way. In a similar way to hey, as much as I would love to see Nikolai Ehlers jacking somebody up, I'd much rather see him using his speed to get an edge and going out and scoring a goal. But Jordan Stahl, plant yourself in front of that net, buddy. Get a deflection. Refuse to be moved. That's where Devin Lloyd comes in. Take somebody's head off. Force a fumble. Make somebody hesitant to go on one of those crossers across the middle. That's where Devin Lloyd comes in. I think we need Rod Brindamore to pound the drum for the Carolina Panthers early in the season, so then Devin Lloyd can go out there and have a Rod Brindamore-style half. Just like Dan Morgan sounds the siren, and then bada boom, bada bang, everybody goes out there and has a Dan Morgan-style period, and it ends up saving perhaps their entire Stanley Cup Final. And then, I mean, over time, you go to the tarps off for the boys, guys. That's a natural progression there. Do you think if they would put Dan Morgan on the Jumbotron, he would have gone tarps off?
I hope so.
Do you think he was kind of itching to? He started moving around just in case? Because that was the whole bit, by the way, for tarps off for the boys. They put tarps off for the boys on a graphic on the bottom of the screen, and they just fired the camera at different dudes around the arena. And for the most part, they obliged.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't 100%, but the batting average was high on how many were I got to do what I got to do for the team. Do you think they have an agreement with the celebrities and stuff? We won't do that kind of stuff with you.
If I was the celebrity that's just knowing my own personality, I've been let's go. I would have done it.
Dan Morgan. It's almost, and this is no disrespect to people that are super in shape. If you have a six-pack, it's not as funny. You know what I mean? It's all right, you're showing off.
We get it. You won. Yeah, all right? I understand.
Rather than the guys that were actually doing it who were no, I'll sacrifice. I'll be a little vulnerable for you. I'll get the crowd going. If you got a six-pack, it's all right, show off. A little different there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a cup check-in coming up next. And as promised, we will open up the phone lines for your calls. We'll give you the number. We'll tell you when to call in right after this, right here on The Drive.
Move your sports day forward.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's the way the Carolina Hurricanes have navigated through the Stanley Cup playoffs postseason so far. But that smothering and covering style they play so much might have to step up just a bit with the Vegas Golden Knights arriving. It's like looking into a mirror when it comes to size and skill.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-895-1414. That's 800-895-1414.
Bull riding contest. I'm signing up.
You've never ridden a bull.
No, but I won playing a new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-off, and I'm on a roll.
But they're loaded with $50, $100, and $200 prizes.
Oh, I'm riding the Widowmaker.
Go for the win with new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-offs and digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.72 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you're exhausted, not just tired, but worn down, this message is for you. I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Across North Carolina, many people wait months, sometimes over a year, just to start sleep care. That wait isn't normal, and it isn't necessary. At Parkway, most patients are seen within weeks, with virtual consultations and home sleep studies that remove unnecessary delays. Sleep care shouldn't have to depend on how long you're willing to wait.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Some of life's most meaningful moments are in summertime. Anniversary dinner, weekend getaway, sunset toast to another beautiful year together. Celebrate your story with a gift as timeless as your love from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From classic diamond bracelets to elegant watches and stunning anniversary bands, Bailey's helps you mark every milestone beautifully. This summer, celebrate the moments that matter most. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh, Cary, Greenville, Rocky Mount, and Charlotte. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Handed here for Gostisbehere. Svechnikov with it. Back here. Gostisbehere, he scores! There's a ghost sighting on the power play, and it puts Carolina up 3-2. Give it to the captain. He directs it home.
That's probably the loudest building I've ever played in front of before or seen, and we feed off that. So, yeah, everyone contributed. It took a bit longer to break it open than we would have liked, but sometimes just the way it goes. It's two tight teams, playing hard, and just the way it goes sometimes.
All right, everybody. This is how it's going to go. We have our Cup check-in served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talked with Shane Willis, who we all know. You hear him on many of the broadcasts. You hear him at the arena. If you are a Canes fan, obviously remember him from his playing days. We have the Cup check-in coming up. Right now, we are going to open up the phone lines for a Friday sound-off. We don't do this often, but when the Carolina Hurricanes win Game 2 in the manner in which they won Game 2, we figure y'all might have something to say about it. So we are going to open up the phone lines. The number is 919-860-5326. That is the Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Dennis can line up a few of your calls. If you don't get through, keep calling. Lines will open up. Dennis will line up a few of your calls during the Cup check-in, and then when we come out on the other side, we'll go straight into your calls, assuming y'all have something to say. So go ahead and call in now, 919-860-5326, and enjoy our Cup check-in when Adam Gold talked with Shane Willis. Let's give it a listen.
How do you describe what we saw in the third period last night, Shane?
For this team and this group of guys, coaches top to bottom, can I just say typical?
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Expected. I mean, going to the third period, it almost felt like the game, it was only 2-0, but it almost felt like it was a bigger lead. Just with the vibe that was in the building, the chances they were getting, they weren't capitalizing. it felt bigger than it was. And so in my mind, when I was talking with Megan and Hannah Yates in the second intermission, I said they just need one. And I said it wasn't going to be pretty. It was going to be ugly, rebound, tip in, something around the net. And so you get a ricochet off Logan Stankoven, and all of a sudden, the fan base, this team who started building shift after shift, worked together, because it was so awesome to watch how the fans got in sync with shift after shift. And then I'm not sure who came up with the tarp thing. I always say it all the time, it's no tarp Tuesday or no tarp Thursday. But when the tarp started coming off at 2-1, then at 2-2, and all of a sudden the Hurricanes were in the lead. And as you know, Adam, we've been around these games before. When a team gets momentum like that and the snowball starts going, it's tough to stop. And you could see Vegas was just reeling. The other part you have to remember is McNabb leads the game.
Yeah.
Their number 6 defenseman is Dylan Coghlan. So ultimately you're down to 4 guys.
Yep.
The forecheck that you and I talked about that was so good in the first period was even better in the third period to dominate Vegas, to allow this team to tie it. But it is just typical Hurricanes hockey. If you want to know what Hurricanes hockey is, watch the third period.
Yep.
Because that's what you're going to get.
It was pretty impressive. The individual play made by Logan Stankoven to get the first goal. And that's on Rasmus Andersson. That's on one of the most coveted players at the trade deadline. Somebody Vegas is almost certainly going to extend to a long-term deal. Oh, well, maybe not. I know they have cap issues and they got to pay Pavel Dorofeev, who has been a Hurricanes killer in his young career and has yet to break out in the series. But, I mean, he is just a ticking time bomb to me. But that's such a great play by Stankoven. And then the goal part of it is kind of lucky because it goes off of Jeremy Lauzon. But it's luck kind of by design, because he goes right to the net, comes right around behind the goal, right to the front of the net. When you do that, I mean, you can get rewarded. Then the Carrier play. How do you describe Will Carrier's old man strength, even though he's not that old a man?
Well, that's just hard work and determination. And I think that's where, when you look at this series, both teams highly talented, play a very similar style system. It comes down to, when you're lined up, the will against the other guy. When he pushes, how hard can you push back?
Right.
And who's going to win those little one-on-one battles, those little chip plays, the one-on-one out of the corner to get to the front of the net as the puck gets to the point, right? Jordan Stahl's tip-in goal on the power play. His will to outwork that defender in front to get position and get the goal. It is such a game of inches in those small little matchups. It's little moments. You know, Mark Stone capitalizes late to tie it. Just gets a little bit of body position, he gets a bounce, and it's in the back of the net.
Yep.
That is what kind of excites me when I'm watching the game. Not necessarily the razzle-dazzle, tic-tac-toe stuff, but that intense battle these players showed throughout 60 minutes last night. So impressive, but kind of expected from me when I look at this team and how well they played all season long, and so excited for them to get the first win in the finals and tie this series up 1-1 going back to Vegas.
That, once again, was our Cup check-in, served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam checking in with Shane Willis. It's Stanley Cup time, Carolina. Grab your jersey, grab your crew, and get to Carolina Ale House for every puck drop. And I do want to co-sign Shane there. It sounds kind of crazy when he responded with, how would you describe the third period as, or what would you describe the third period as? And he said, typical. But if you were in the arena during his intermission interview, he did say, like, the third period is always this team's best period, and, you know, they just need to get one. So once that happened, he was proved correct. So he deserves to take a little victory lap and say, I saw it coming. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is now open. Easter Automotive Group hotline for calls, 919-860-5326. Call in now. Might have to get in line. But we are happy to hear from as many of you as possible. And we will start with Steve in Apex. Steve in Apex wants to sound off on the cane. Steve, what's going on, my man?
Tim, I'm going to start it like this. As good as Vegas is, I'm starting to see a little hands on knees. Canes are starting to win down Nikolai Ehlers in the first period at 9:35 to go score the first goal in Vegas. And the Canes gonna start. I see a little bit of fade on it. As good as they are now, they solid, but I can start to see Carolina wearing them down just slightly.
All right, I like that. That's the old basketball saying, right? Tugging on their shorts. As soon as you see them tugging on their shorts, you got them right where you want them.
Yes,
Steve, I appreciate the call. Call back in anytime.
All right, buddy.
I don't want to disrespect Vegas at all, right? It's not like you win one game in overtime and suddenly it's obvious that Canes are 1,000 goals better. Like, this is a game that is going to come down to a couple plays per game, maybe a couple plays in the entire series. So it's going to be a battle, and if the Canes can continue to lean on their entire roster, I do think that is a massive advantage, using all four lines, using all 3D pair, staying healthy as much as you can, because, yeah, it's going to be a long series. It's going to be a tiring series, and there's not as many off days baked into it as you'd think there might be. Back to the call-in line we go. Next up, we have Linda in Roanoke. Linda in Roanoke, friend of the show. Welcome back. Love to hear from you. Go ahead and sound off.
Well, thanks for taking my call. I just have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what I said at the end of February, beginning of March about the Cup?
I don't. I'm sure it had something to do with Seth Jarvis, which probably feels pretty good after last night.
Oh, that felt great. No, I said, well, I don't know if I want to say it. I might jinx it.
If you believe in jinxes, keep it to yourself. I don't want to force anything, but I'll assume. I think we can all kind of connect the dots here on maybe what you were saying about the Canes in the Cup.
Yes, I think you can, and you can ask Dennis if you don't remember. So anyway.
Oh, I remember, Linda. Don't you worry.
We're all in awareness. If you don't want to say it, we will respect that. But we do always appreciate hearing from you, Linda. And can you give us a Go Canes?
Go Canes!
Beautiful. Linda, thank you very much for calling in. Call back anytime. But you know that
I will. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Let's jump to Aaron in Wake Forest. Aaron, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey there, Tim. Really appreciate you taking the call, and really love your show.
Thank you.
Wanted to say I've never seen this from any team in the NHL ever. And I also work in sports, and I've never seen with the media, which then leads to fans, that just discount, just hate, doubt, and are so critical of the Canes more than I've ever seen before. And I know, being around championship hockey, work around championship hockey, this team's got what it takes. Now, is it going to be easy? No. But the fact of we are so discounted just drives me up the wall. And not only do I want it because I want to party like 2006 again, but I want it to finally, shut these haters up and just say, hey, we've got what it takes. We've won it. You can't take it away from us.
Aaron, I love the fight, and I love the partying like 2006 as well. Call back in anytime. I'll give you what I think is happening here. And I'm not saying we do this, but I do know certain media people move in this way. If you are the team that never gets over the hump, right? You're a team that has made it a lot, been a contender a lot, maybe been a favorite a lot, and you don't finish the job, it becomes very safe to criticize or hate or doubt that team, because even if like the Canes go on to win it, you don't really eat crow in the way you do if you pick against other teams, because you go, well, they had 7 opportunities, 7 straight playoffs before that, they didn't get it. Of course I was skeptical. Like it just becomes this little pocket in the media of like worry-free doubting, right? Where if you doubt some of these other teams that are just being put together, and you don't have that same like, well, they stunk for a long time. I was right 7 times before I was wrong. You don't have that. So it's I think that's why it's so pervasive. And it's why so many times, like, the Canes are fresh off accomplishing something, and you just hear the national media go, yeah, but they can't accomplish that against this next team they're going to face. And it's like, all right, let's see. Because, like, say you picked against the Canes the last 7 years. you've been right as long as you just keep doubling down on them not finishing the job. You keep going, well, next series they won't. You're going to be right every year. So it's a very safe place until it's not. And then, by the way, I know this for a fact because we've seen it a few times. Canes fans have quick access to receipts. They know very, very, very well where every single naysayer and doubter, where those comments have been. So if they pull it off, be prepared if you're somebody that has been anti-Canes for a while.
They got them bookmarked in the drafts, ready to go.
I'm screenshotted. They got their caption already written up somewhere. It's just copy and paste from that point. Let's go back to the call-in line, which, by the way, it is a Friday Soundoff special, wide-open phone lines for you. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. We have Sam in Durham next up, wants to sound off on the Canes. Sam, welcome to the show. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Tim. Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Big fan of the Soundoff. Got just one quick thought from seeing I really like the way Rod changed up some of the personnel, went into the well, so to speak, in the later part of the game. The one outside of special teams, there still seems to be some lack of gel and like in a good solid scoring line that we saw in previous rounds. I'd really love to see Aho get inserted as center into the Stankoven line and have Stankoven go up to that first line to see how Aho can be a playmaker with Blake and Hall, because I feel like that could be a spark that would provide some early offense that's not on special teams and 5-on-5, and I think they'd make a big difference.
All right, Sam, I like the outside the box thinking. I'm not sure I agree with you, but we appreciate you for calling in and thank you for the kind words about the show. What I would say is I'm not touching the Stankoven line.
No, they're the hottest line in hockey.
I'm not even. That's getting laughed out of the room if I'm in the room. Again, I like outside the box thinking. I do know a lot of people were maybe were hoping that Ehlers would have been the one to jump up with the Aho line rather than Martinook when they made the change. But I think Rod was erring on the side of something they had done before and something that's obviously in their toolbox because they had switched Martinook and Jarvis earlier in the postseason. I think that was when you're looking for a spark, you're just looking for something different, right? You just need a different voice in the huddle, different instincts, just a little something different. And I don't know if it worked because obviously two of the goals came on the power play and the Stankoven line got one, the fourth line got one. So, the lines that were shuffled up really were the only two that didn't get the goal. But it was worth trying. They had to give it a go and they got the win. So, figure it out later. Thank you for the call, Sam. And I do think that at a certain point they would have tried darn near anything, but darn near anything, that part that they wouldn't try is mixing up the Stankoven line. Let's go back to the call-in line. We have Barry in Selma. Barry, welcome to the show. Please go ahead and sound off.
Thank you, Tim. Listen to y'all every day as well, Dennis knows. As a casual observer over the last few years, since Brindamore got here and has been great, Tolsky's been great with his management decisions. They've been talking about goaltending for the last 4 years. I don't know if a great goaltender exists that they can go out and get, but I think the defense in the first 3 rounds kind of hid Anderson's mediocrity. I think it's like Adam said, you're going to have to outscore them because their goaltender isn't much better. Let me hear you and Dennis's thoughts on that.
Okay, there's kind of 2 thoughts there. I appreciate them both. One, yeah, we've been talking about goalie forever with this team and going out and acquiring they don't grow on trees. Teams aren't willing to give up goaltenders, and they very rarely hit free agency when we're talking about the super studs. So it's tough, right? And it's the same thing with, there's a reason why Dylan Larkin is going to get overpaid for in a trade by $1 billion this offseason if they do end up trading him from Detroit, because centers and goaltenders, there's more demand than there is supply forever and ever. So it's just not that easy. Second of all, I don't know if it's I'm having a hard time describing what Freddie's level of play has been this offseason or this postseason, because he's been good. He hasn't been incredible. And he's been pretty darn consistently good, but not incredible. It's and I think I saw Adam say this, so maybe I'm paraphrasing a bit here. You very rarely ever put it on a goalie when it's just a one-on-one fast break, like rush.
Yeah.
but also the good ones do stop a few of those.
They do.
And it's the same conversation about Freddie all the time, which is like you look at him and you go, that maybe one softie. It's not he played okay, but I really would have liked to have seen him make like that one wow save. And I don't know. Like I don't think goaltender is going to win it for either of these teams, but I also don't think goaltender is going to necessarily lose it for either of these two teams. It's about how many like wide open, super high danger chances these teams are creating against the opposing team's skaters that has become the story.
So if you look yesterday, or just really, I guess let's go back to this playoffs as a whole. The first 2 rounds, Freddie was outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the best. He was probably the best goalie in the league through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And then Montreal, he was good in moments. He didn't face a ton of shots. And Rob Brindamore even acknowledged it as well. It's like, yeah, we've seen the save percentage. Like, we understand it, but also teams don't get a lot of shots against us. Mark Jankowski even said yesterday is, Freddie made some saves when we needed him to. And, pretty much, all the goals that have been let up have been because of us, not because of Freddie. So, he put the goals scored on themselves, because if I know that, Sean Walker got held a bit by Brett Howden, but if you win that one-on-one battle, then Brett Howden doesn't score. If Jacob Slavin wins that one-on-one battle in the second goal, guess what? Brett Howden doesn't score. So it's just, again, you got to win a one-on-one every once in a while, and sometimes you need a goalie to bail you out, but it's not like Carter Hart's over there, making ridiculous save after ridiculous save after ridiculous save.
It's actually, I think, pretty rare to be at this point in postseason and have the goalies be so not part of the story, kind of, where so often at least one team is just riding a hot goaltender once they get to this point. Let's ride to the next caller here on a Friday Soundoff. Next up, we have Pat in Durham. Pat in Durham wants to talk Canes as well. Welcome to the show, Pat. Go ahead and take it from here.
Hey, man, go Canes.
Go Canes.
What's awesome is watching them on TV, and it's interesting. They fan the crowd outside, and it's just you can't see the end of it. They're just going ballistic. Way to represent. And number 2, it was you listen to them talking about Vegas, and it's like all 4 lines. You can't tell the difference in all the 4 lines, and they don't give the Canes any type of props, but yet all 4 lines scored. And so that was kind of, I'd never heard that brought out during the intermission report. And but it was it was just a great game. They owe me a few hours sleep, but that's okay. I'll just put that one in the bank, because it's hard to go to bed right after you see something like that.
Adrenaline
it's hard to go to sleep.
I completely agree.
One question: If you pull the goalie in the first period, and let's say Bussy comes in the second, can the goalie come back in the third, or once you pull him, that's it?
Okay, I appreciate the call. As far as I know, you can flip the goalie every 10 seconds if you want to.
Yeah, you can do that.
Every dead possession, you can go ahead and flip them. I don't know if goalies would necessarily love that. They tend to be they like to own their crease a bit, but yeah, you could. I wouldn't recommend that kind of experimenting now, though. What he was saying, though, about the outside the arena vibes, I won't say who. There's somebody from a national radio or national media thing that I got into a bit during the second overtime game earlier in the postseason when Jankowski scored and everybody thought it was over and they went back and reviewed it. How a few people, likely with jobs or kids or whatever, booked it kind of out after they thought they had watched the win and they couldn't get back in, so there were a couple empty seats. Somebody was giving the Canes a hard time for having empty seats in a 2 overtime game. I hope that person, and I'm not going to bring him back into it, I hope that person watched what an overtime game looks like for a Canes postseason for people that weren't even in the arena, let alone empty seats. There was an empty space outside the arena watching on big screens. I think Canes fans showed up in a big way. Daniel in Greensboro, next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Daniel, welcome to the show. It's a Friday Sound Off. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim. Just want to say big fan of you and Dennis. Been watching your show for the last couple of years. Really got into it the last couple of years. Just want to talk about the Hurricanes and right quick. Number one, I'm more of a basketball fan, but I love gotten into hockey last few years as well. Do you feel like Logan Stankoven is kind of like what we would call in basketball the spark plug? Like every time he has scored a goal in like the last couple of games against, especially in the Philadelphia and last night, next thing you know, the Hurricanes go on like score 2 in a row, 3 in a row. So I feel like maybe they get more confidence once he scores a goal. And also my other question is just about Duke basketball. With the last 2 years that Shire's had with the team, with Cooper Flagg and Carlos and Cameron Boozer, do you think that maybe more pressure is on him this year because now they don't really have that big star? That's all.
All right. I appreciate all of that. Logan Stankoven, you going with the basketball analogy there? To me, spark plug is off the bench, right? To me, spark plug in basketball is somebody who, like, the starter's having a rough day. You got some microwave offense off the bench. If, like, hockey, obviously, with shifts and everything, it's not quite as, like, here's our sixth man. I think in a basketball analogy, he's a starter. I think he's like your number 2 or 3 usage option right now. The guy he's tied for the second most goals in a single postseason in Canes history. He's creating. You know who if you're going cross basketball analogy, do you know who he kind of reminds me of? A little Jalen Brunson. Right? A little, like, you wouldn't look at him and say best athlete, maybe a below the rim game, but he's tough as nails and just comes up big in huge moments over and over and over again. And obviously the Knicks are up 1-0 in the Stanley Cup or in the NBA Finals. There's some Jalen Brunson there with Logan Stankoven. And as far as Duke goes, I don't think he's under more pressure because he doesn't have a star. That roster, there's a star on there. There might be 5 stars on there. I don't know which ones will emerge, but don't worry. Like, they have the number 2 transfer coming in Blackwell from Wisconsin. Also, don't sleep on Boomshay. Don't sleep on Cameron Williams. Don't sleep on a few of these guys they have coming in. They're on Rippey. They got some dudes and some returners. No. By the way, yesterday was 5 years of John Shire being named head coach. Seems at the same time shorter than that and longer than that. It's one of those weird time-space continuum things. All right, we have a few more here. Let's rip through them. 3 more callers we want to get to because they've been patient. Adam in Sanford, want to talk Canes. We're happy to have you. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thanks, Tim. And listen to you guys every day after work on my ride home.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you guys. But, yeah, I love the way that we're playing right now. One guy who called earlier was talking about changing up the Sebastian Aho line. Mm-hmm. I think we stay the course. Keep the line. I think Seth Jarvis just opened up the door for that line to be able to, produce even more in these next couple of games that we're going to have. So I think Rod Brindamore just stick to the plan and stay the course, and I believe that cup will be in Raleigh, and I'll be celebrating with them.
All right. Hey, thank you very much for the call. It's similar to what I said a few days ago on, Dance with Who Brought You. I think you start in a lot of ways with what you've been planning, but as we saw yesterday, you have to be willing in game to make changes if the spark just isn't there, and try to manufacture something. Brian in Holly Springs, next up on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Brian, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Tim, thank you very much. You and Dennis are doing a great job. I want to run something by you guys, and I'll hang up and listen to your response. Number one, we go out and win this thing. We make Stankoven the captain for as long as he wants to be captain. Then we make a call to Gary Bettman, and we're going to rename this thing to the Stankoven Cup. That's my opinion.
All right. You know what? Thank you very much, Brian. I like that you went with the Stankoven Cup thing because that's just so over the top that now I know you're being a little hyperbolic. I don't think Stankoven is going to be the captain anytime soon. I think there are some guys in front of him that are very deserving of that letter on their jersey, not to the least of which being the guy who currently has the C on his jersey and Jordan Stahl, who also scored a goal yesterday, and I don't think is necessarily going anywhere. But no, I mean, I'll tell you what Stankoven is doing, selling a lot of Stankoven jerseys this run. He's becoming a fan favorite. I think that's fair. Last one here. We have Aiken in Raleigh. Aiken, welcome to the show. End it with a bang. You're our last caller. Give us something good.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Dennis. Tim, I ran into you when you were leaving the tailgate yesterday, so that was cool. Listen to you guys all the time.
I appreciate
that. I just wanted to point out something from the winning goal that some people might not have noticed. I saw it on Twitter this morning. So Ehlers is kind of in the slot.
Yep, I know exactly where you're going with it. Keep going. It's a cool
fact.
fact.
The net front presence, and he kind of jumps when same time Gostisbehere. It all starts with Gostisbehere, but Ehlers jumps, and it kind of takes Carter Hart's attention to the center of the ice as the same time that Gostisbehere is making the pass over to Jarvis, and I think it just took his attention away enough to make that goal happen.
Aiken, first of all, thank you for giving me the shout-out when I was leaving the tailgate, and also thank you for pointing out something cool. So call back in anytime. I watched it a few times because I saw someone on Twitter point it out as well. I'm not 100% sure if Ehlers genuinely thought that Ghost was shooting, so
right.
he jumped. Like if he fell for it in the same way that Vegas fell for it, and then, oh, what a great acting job by me. Like, I knew that was happening. Or if he legitimately jumped as like, I'm going to sell this pump fake from Gostisbehere, that is the best definition of just that chemistry on that power play unit being on 100% yesterday. It kind of reminded me of like the old school hidden ball tricks they used to do in baseball, where like the guys in the bullpen out in right field would also jump up and start looking for it even when they knew the ball wasn't there, just to sell it. Like he was like the supporting actor in the pump fake for Gostisbehere. So if he was doing that intentionally as a ruse, unbelievable work from Ehlers. If he actually got faked out, don't tell anybody. Act like you were acting and sold it, Nikolai Ehlers. Go get that Oscar nom. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to all of our callers, everybody that hangs out with us during our sound-offs. It's always a fun time. Before we move on, I do want to let everybody know about an event coming to Bailey's Fine Jewelry. It is Wednesday, June 10th, so next week Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m., Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, Village District location in Raleigh. Obviously, the biggest series in hockey is going on right now, and fellow Carolina hockey fans that want to perhaps explore the latest Norcane Swiss watches and their exclusive new NHL watch, because they are the official luxury sports watch of the NHL and NHL Players Association. They are launching that watch at this event. Wednesday, June 10th, 5 to 7 p.m., Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. There will also be complimentary ice cream for guests or anyone that stops in and wants to check out the watches. Fan favorite flavors, including Carolina hockey cocktails, kind of things with some themes there. So attendees will have a chance to win hockey swag throughout the event and try on some of the coolest watches from Norcane. 5 to 7 p.m., June 10th, Fox and Bailey, inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. When you are there, make sure they know you heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, it's starting 5 time here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere. Oh, no, sorry. I'm one ahead. I'm
jumping
just
the
so
gun
excited.
here. You're excited.
I will never skip real bold predictions. So when we come back, real bold predictions. I deserve the buzzer. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and after every Hurricanes game, thanks to my friends at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, we give you the Canes Corner podcast. In-depth analysis on what happened, why it happened, what's going to happen next, which players are those to look out for, and as we get deep into the playoffs, how can Carolina best position themselves to win a Stanley Cup? Canes Corner podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, live on YouTube, and of course available wherever you get your podcasts.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's Bo time.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you contact your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
Ajo, penetra Ajo por derecha, se la devuelve a Ajo. Sebastián Ajo vuelve al punto. Cross Sear de derecha a izquierda sobre la línea azul. Ahora para que venga el bastonazo. Lo ganó Carolina. Lo ganó Carolina y lo hizo Jarvis. ¡Gol! De los Huracanes de Carolina que lo ganan en tiempo extra. Partido inolvidable. Bastonazo de Jarvis. Este estadio se quiere caer. Los Huracanes lo ganan. Se empató la serie y vivimos, coach, para llevarles partidos como este. Ganó Carolina.
What did I just listen to, Dennis?
That was the Seth Jarvis game-winning goal.
Oh, obviously. I just don't speak. I mean, I knew it was exciting. I could have been any of the goals, if we're being real. That's from the Spanish language broadcast, I assume? They gave, I assume, a lot of detail there on everything that happened on that play. Canes won Game 2 last night, Stanley Cup Final, to even the series with Vegas 1-1. It was an overtime game winner from Seth Jarvis, if you couldn't make it out from that highlight. Goal differential, even.
Yeah.
1 goal win for Vegas in Game 1, 1 goal win for the Canes in Game 2. You head to Vegas, 5-game series. 5-game series. Got to take one on the road. Got to get one in Vegas. Come back here, at least 2-2 for Game 5. And by the way, that means there will be a Game 5 because it is 1-1 now.
Yes.
So there will be at least one more game here in Raleigh. That's exciting. Because Game 1 was awesome. Game 2 was bananas. I can only expect what the next one's going to be here in the Lenovo Center. We have a few minutes here before the top of the hour, and as promised, we are going to fit in at least a few real, bold predictions. All right, the way this works, I'm going to make a prediction that I think is bold. You will either hear the bold enough bell or the not bold enough buzzer. If I get a buzzer, I have to make it bolder on the spot until we hear the bell. You'll catch on. Let's start with a couple for Game 3 tomorrow. Shane Gostisbehere, goal scorer. Shane Gostisbehere, power play goal scorer. I love picking goal scorers off guys that had great pump fakes the game before. Because now they're watching film and they're going like, can't trust this guy's eyes. You got to pay attention. He's always looking. And this time he's just going to stare at the goal and shoot it. And they're going to be running to go cover everybody else because it's that counter to the counter. They don't know that I know they know thing going on.
Let's not forget he scored in Game 1.
Yeah, and he's been point producing for a little bit now. He's found his rhythm in the postseason after not starting off as hot as maybe he wanted to.
He looks like the regular season Shane Gostisbehere that we saw.
Who was basically a point per game in the regular season.
Yeah.
He was hurt a lot of weird 2-week absences.
Mm-hmm.
Like never really it wasn't like Slavin missing half a season then playing half a season. But he was basically a point per game during the regular season. How about this one? Game 3, Stanley Cup Final, bold prediction. Game 3 goes to overtime. I think there's only one way to go bolder here. Game 3 goes to 2 overtimes. It just seems like these teams are destined to be back and forth, scoring go-ahead and game-tying goals in the third period, no matter what. And when that happens, there's like a 50-50 chance you're going to end after a game tying rather than a go-ahead, and overtime just seems likely.
It's crazy to think that of their 13 wins, 6 have gone to OT.
And they're 6-0.
6-0.
This was the first one that wasn't 3-2.
It's true.
I picked 3-2 in overtime. There was a second there when it was 2-2, and I was like,
yeah, I know.
This is looking kind of like we're running it back here. Not like I was mad that Jordan Staal scored to break the tie, but there was a moment where I was like, this thing's going to overtime 2-2. Like, this is exactly how I drew it up. Canes game 3 is the last one for that game. Seth Jarvis, 2 or more points. How do you not ride the wave off a game winner in overtime? Just a one-time snipe, too. Like, that's got to unlock the best version of Seth Jarvis. How about this one? I have one for the series. For the series, Jordan Staal outscores Mitch Marner.
In terms of goals or points?
I'll go goals if you'll give it to me. Because right now I believe Jordan Staal is up on goals. He's down on
2,
points.
Yeah.
He's down on points in that matchup. So it just feels like Jordan Stahl's having his true, that people have been calling him Unk, like his true uncle strength moment where he's just, I'm in front of the net and I'm doing everything I can to deflect and be a backboard for all these skilled youngsters that are on my unit with me on my team. And it's working out for him.
By the way, Mitch Marner's a stud. He's so good.
I keep saying it. I don't want to disrespect Vegas in any of this. Obviously, there's a lot of good that happened for the Canes in that third period, but there's a reason why this is such a bananas matchup, and it's because Vegas got some dudes. And how in the heck were they like 32, 26, and 19 or whatever they were when Tortorella took over? Like, with all of this, I know Carlson wasn't around due to the injury and stuff, but
because their goaltending was bad. They couldn't get their goaltending during the regular season was awful.
There's a lesson in there somewhere. A real bold prediction for the NBA playoffs before we wrap it up. Spurs win tonight by 10 or more. They are down 1-0.
Yeah, and
10 or more is what I would win.
Okay.
12 or more. All right. That's double the spread. I think the spread is 6. I just think the Spurs are gonna be angry. They're gonna be angry out there. Gonna win by a bunch. That's it for Real Bold Predictions. Thank you, Dennis, for being our checks and balances on our boldness. And if you have bold predictions, you can always send them into our YouTube live stream comments. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Just make sure they're bold, right? Don't send in any of this. Yeah, I think Logan Stankoven's going to score a goal. Like, no duh. The guy's got a million of them. Be more bold than that. And pump it up on the way to break when we come back. Starting 5 here on 99.9.
Can't get enough of the Carolina Hurricanes? Check out my podcast, Iced Tea, hosted by me, Megan LaMontagne, as I take you behind the scenes and get exclusive stories about the team. This season, I've interviewed Seth Jarvis's brother, Caden, who talks about a young Jarvie growing up, longtime PA announcer Wade Minter, who spills the tea on how a mess-up made national news, and legendary color commentator Trip Tracy, just to name a few of the guests. Listen wherever you get your podcasts or watch on YouTube.
When you own your own business, you own every decision.
Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
make a new hire, or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with a toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge.
Big props to this team.
Some decisions are a win-win, like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
At Wake Orthopedics Urgent Care, we spend days, nights, and weekends in 3 convenient locations providing specialized care for kids and adults. Sprains and strains, shoulders and knees, fractures, hammies, and more. All that and all without an appointment. Walk in or limp in, either way you'll get the care you need whenever you need it. Visit us today at wakemed.org.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. So give me my good friends, give me a
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Stop by Handy Hugo's for great deals on your favorite Mountain Dew products. Head to Handy Hugo's today.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. A lot of people have work to do on their homes. They need a roof. They want windows, siding. You guys do everything. But people are also, I'm not sure I can afford it. The Aluminum Company is a great place to go. Tell us why.
Well, tons of times I'll go out to people's houses and they're thinking about doing a bunch of home improvements at once. Siding, roofing, windows are a big package, right? And the first thing they think of is, well, I'm going to need to go get an equity line or a second mortgage. One of the things we have is tons of financing options where you don't even need to go to your bank. We can do that in-house for you and run payment options for you. And lots of times the financing that we offer is a better percentage rating than you can get from your bank, and you don't have to go through all that mess to get to it.
I like that. Also, is there 12 months, 0 interest?
12 months, 0 interest, 0 payments for 12 months.
0 payments and 0 interest at the same time for 12 months.
That is correct.
That is a double header right there. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online, aluminumcompany.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. We're back in the 90s this afternoon. It's a hot start to the weekend. Overnight tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies. It's not as cool. Temperatures will fall into the low 60s. It's partly cloudy and hot again on Saturday with highs in the low to mid 90s.
Weather update brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today, down 695 points, closing at 50,866.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into the starting 5, I do want to let everybody know that even though our show, because our show is only weekdays, nothing we can do about that, will not be live outside of anywhere, you can still hear the Canes game tomorrow right here on 99.9 The Fan, and that includes Stormwatch with Adam Gold. It includes all the pre and post. It includes everything that we make sure is available on 99.9 The Fan for all of you. So it is an 8 p.m. start tomorrow. It is in Vegas. Dennis, you know what it is. It's pivotal. Game 3.
Pivotal.
Game 3. And actually, if you can get tickets for less than if you can get flights for less than $500,000, Right now, ESPN's telling me you can get tickets as low as $562 in Vegas.
Wait, you said tickets for less than $500,000 flights?
If you can get flights for less than $500 is what I meant to say.
Okay. So tickets for less than $500,000. I hope you can get a flight out to Vegas for less than $500,000.
Well, I mean, maybe you're flying private and going the opposite way. You're going the long way around the world.
Maybe.
I don't know. I meant $500.
Okay.
If you can get tickets for less than like $500, it might be cheaper. Based on the resale market for tickets in Raleigh, it might be cheaper to go to Vegas.
You know, I don't hate it.
If you get like a $300 flight, pay $500 and some for a ticket, I believe the get-in price was $1,000 or maybe a little over by game time. Obviously, if you got in, earlier on face value, I'm just letting you know.
See, now you got me looking things up.
No, just saying. That's all actually right now I can tell you, again, according to ESPN, for Game 5, which would be in Raleigh, tickets as low as $952.
There you go.
So if you can get a flight for $400 in that morning, you don't need a place to stay in Vegas. It doesn't sleep. Stay up all night, fly out the next morning. You're good to go. It'd be cheaper to go see a game in Vegas than it would be to see one here in Raleigh. Mix in parking and everything else, like you might have a little slush fund to go buy some merch or something. I don't know.
Buy food.
Gamble.
There you go. Hey, you can win your trip back.
Yeah, you might be cheaper in a lot of ways. My point is the game is tomorrow, and you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Mike Maniscalco, Trip Tracy will be on the call, as they always are. And if you haven't done so yet, don't do it right now during our show. But later tonight, make sure you go check out the booth cam of Mike and Trip as Seth Jarvis scores the game winner. Mike Maniscalco decided to throw his weight around a little bit. Trip Tracy got the brunt of it, but all smiles. Speaking of the game winner from Seth Jarvis, speaking of the win last night, our starting five, as always, starts with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that hockey.
And to give you all the details about last night's Game 2 victory for the Carolina Hurricanes, our very own Adam Gold with a 4-minute segment that we called 2 Minutes of Gold. Here it is for you.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 goals, and then 4 goals, and then 2 big goals. And Carolina is 1-1 after 2. I think we're almost done. It's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers, parkwaysleep.com. It didn't start well for Carolina. Actually, they dominated the first, but still fell behind.
Carolina will drop this in and back the other way. It's Howden with a shot, and he'll score. Vegas sends it the other way, and Howden, who is having the playoff of his life, has scored his 12th goal this postseason. 1-0 Vegas.
Great individual effort from Brett Howden. He has touched the sun in the playoffs, and he did it again in the second.
Brett Howden is having the playoff of his life. It's 2-0 Vegas after Carolina killed off that power play.
2-0 Vegas, and the building is quiet. Silence. A library. And then a bolt of Stankoven.
Stankoven is going to come up with the steal. Stankoven, stuff chance on her foot. He scores! Oh, the tank! Logan Stankoven puts Carolina on the board. It's 2-1, and Lenovo Centers come to life.
Great individual effort. He beats Rasmus Anderson for the puck after a face-off loss. Little lucky on the goal. It goes in off of Jeremy Lauzon, Vegas' defenseman. 2.5 minutes later, old man strength from Will Carrier sets up Mark Jankowski.
Frederick Anderson, he'll settle it down. Kane's cleared out. Will Carrier into the zone. Drop Jankowski. He scores! Mark Jankowski has tied it up here, and the Canes have come back from 2 down. Oh, his first of the postseason, and Mark Jankowski has got this building in a frenzy.
2-2, roof off the place. Vegas would score, they thought. It was ruled out for goaltender interference. John Tortorella challenged. I don't care if he would do it 10 times in a row. Lost the challenge. Carolina gets a power play as a result.
Now Gostisbehere. He'll quarterback it. He'll get it to Jarvis. Left face-off circle. Back to Gostisbehere. He'll keep it in. Walk the blue line. To Jarvis. Jarvis He'll go across. Handed here for Gostisbehere. Svechnikov with it. Back here. Gostisbehere, he scores! There's a ghost sighting on the power play, and it puts Carolina up 3-2. Give it to the captain. He directs it home.
Big man in front. Jordan Stahl's deflection was the difference. Carolina gets a power play goal in this economy? And we go to overtime because Mark Stone equalized with about a minute and a half left, and then the power play strikes again.
As this is sent in, Ehlers goes diagonal for Aho. They'll go back and forth with it. Aho along the right wing boards. Back up top, it's Gostisbehere. Send it cross shot. Game over! Seth Jarvis wins it in overtime!
Seth Jarvis, your game winner. We head to Vegas, baby. Vegas, baby. 1-1 in the series. Unbelievable. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound Sleep, Sound Health, Soundoff for the greatest power play in playoff history, at least the last 2 times.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was 2 minutes of gold with Adam Gold, all about the win in Game 2. Gosh, that was a really fun game. I mean, if nothing else, it was fun. And that's what sports should be, right? That's what we hope for. That is number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. All together.
Stankoven is going to come up with the steal. Stankoven, stuff cancer in front. He scores! Oh, the tank! Logan Stankoven puts Carolina on the board. It's 2-1, and Lenovo Centers come to life.
Guess who was in the Canes crowd for Game 1? John Shire, Duke head basketball coach. So we're going to use a Canes highlight to talk about the ACC.
That's right. And Anton Jamison was there yesterday, too.
He was the siren sounder for the first intermission?
That's right.
For the Carolina Hurricanes. So ACC connections. The ACC-SEC Men's Basketball Challenge put out the opponents. So they finally assigned who's going to play who. I'll give you the local teams and who they drew. UNC will be at home against Arkansas. Arkansas is a good program now. They got some money to spend. They got the Tyson Chicken guy giving them a blank check, and they have John Calipari spending it. So that'll be a premier game for Carolina. Duke is going on the road to Florida. Florida came to Duke last year. They're going to Gainesville this year. ESPN, as we talked about earlier this week, put out kind of post-NBA draft decisions, post most of the transfer portal and European players coming over. They're way too early top 25. Florida's number 1, Duke's number 2. They're playing each other in the ACC-SEC Challenge. Yeah, I'd say that'll be a premier game. And NC State will be playing at home against South Carolina. So, you know how the trash talk goes across that state border. NC State hosting South Carolina, by the way. And Dennis, you said earlier, I don't have the days and times in front of me. These are all going to be on the same day, those 3.
Tuesday, December 1st is when all 3 Triangle teams are playing in the ACC-SEC Challenge. As you mentioned, Duke on the road at Florida, State at home, UNC at home.
Wake Forest at LSU. I don't know what day and time, but they will be playing at LSU. I would have liked to have seen State versus LSU for the Will Wade of it all, just to be able to go ahead and make that happen. That'd be like a
missed opportunity.
Yeah, Dennis, if your professional wrestling writers were scripting it, it would have been LSU at NC State would have been the move.
Oh, I would have booked that. I would have booked that 100%. By the way, the Wake Forest at LSU is also on Tuesday, December 1st.
Wow. So all 4.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna need to multi-screen that bad boy.
Yeah.
Or get a real big screen and do the whole multi-view, depending on what floats your boat.
By the way, on that Wednesday of the ACC-SEC Challenge, we have Kentucky at Virginia. Should be a fun one.
There are some, outside of the teams we cover, Texas at Louisville is a pretty good banger there. Bama, meaning Alabama, at Miami is a pretty good matchup. You brought up Kentucky at UVA. That's a pretty good matchup. And then there are also other matchups.
Stanford, Texas A&M, classic ACC, SEC rivalry.
There are also other matchups. Boston College at Georgia. Get juiced. Auburn at Clemson. Watch out.
Pitt, Missouri. Nothing screams ACC, SEC challenge like Pitt at Missouri.
Exactly. Just Syracuse at Oklahoma. That is Big East at Big 12.
What are we doing? What?
Either way, the SEC ACC challenge is awesome. Do you know what I think they should do, though?
What's that?
They should do it in February, and you shouldn't know your opponent till January. Because then you guarantee, with the transfer portal, you never know which teams are actually going to be good or not. That way, January, you look at the conference rankings, and you get to decide like 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. And then you're guaranteed to get a good team this year. And you're guaranteed to get a giant non-conference game at the end of the season when you need resume builders. So, think about it. They used to do Bracket Buster Weekend, I think was what they called it. And there was some of that late scheduling, go give yourself an opportunity to make a big game. They did it during COVID when they randomly scheduled like Coastal and BYU.
Football, yeah.
Because I think both of their opponents couldn't play because of COVID or something, so they both need a top 25 win. Like, I like the idea of having a weekend at the end of the year where if you need a resume builder to get yourself off the bubble, you can just go schedule one. But that's more big picture thing that we can discuss later. That's an off-season college basketball decision. That's definitely not a right now college basketball decision. That is number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Frederick Anderson, he'll settle it down. Canes cleared out. Will Carrier into the zone. Drop Jankowski. He scores! Mark Jankowski has tied it up here. And the Canes have come back from 2 down. Oh, his first of the postseason. And Mark Jankowski has got this building in a frenzy.
Depth scoring. Jankowski from Carrier. As we use our NHL Stanley Cup playoff highlights to transition into other topics, let that be a lesson, for the Spurs. It can't just be Wembanyama. You need depth. You need somebody else to step up and make a play. Wembanyama, 26-12 in Game 1. They lost by 10. It can't just be Wembanyama. You need your Jankowskis to score occasionally. You need your Will Carriers to have a hit per minute every time they're out there. Sure, Jalen Brunson had his 30, but also Karl Anthony Towns had his 18. OG Anunoby had his 17. Can't just be one guy. You need depth scoring. By the way, Champagny and Castle also had 16 and 17. So it's not like the Spurs didn't have anyone else stepping up. They
depth scoring.
It was really their fourth line that didn't make it happen. Their top 2 lines were okay, if you keep with the analogy. The Spurs and Knicks played tonight. 1-0 series lead for the Knicks. This is bordering on must win for the Spurs. Bordering on must win for the Spurs. ESPN Analytics has it 57% in favor of the Spurs, but I think the Knicks they would rather be underdogs. They got all that, Spike Lee energy of just count us out. Ben Stiller. I don't know why. I know because it's the Knicks and it's New York City and it's Madison Square Garden, but why do I know every celebrity fan of the Knicks? I've learned all of them against my will. You see what the Canes official Twitter was putting out? They had like a guy that used to act in One Tree Hill. They were look at this guy watching the game. It's like, no disrespect to One Tree Hill. I never watched the show. I know it's very, very popular. But it just seems like, unless you have like true A-listers, or they're sounding the siren or doing something for you, like, I don't know, just let them watch the game. They were up against the glass. One Tree Hill. You want to know what's funny about it?
What's up?
So I saw that the One Tree Hill guys were there.
Mm-hmm.
I know my wife had watched Gilmore Girls,
Oh, my sister's a massive fan of that show.
But I confused the two. So I sent her like, hey, look who's at the game. And she was like, who's that? And I realized I was thinking Gilmore Girls, and they were One Tree Hill. So
they're from the same era.
That's a realistic mistake on my part. I hadn't watched either of them.
From the same era.
Either way, NBA Finals Game 2 tonight. Kind of must win for the Spurs. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. He'll go across. Handed here for Gostisbehere. Svechnikov with it. Back here. Gostisbehere, he scores! There's a ghost sighting on the power play, and it puts Carolina up 3-2. Give it to the captain. He directs it home.
So we actually are talking hockey in this one. We have some of the voting results, some of the tallies and ballots from the NHL awards. And we're going to run through 3 of them quickly here. Starting with when the finalists came out, it seemed like the most hurt Canes fans were, was that Jordan Staal wasn't one of the finalists for the Selke. Nick Suzuki ended up winning in a gosh darn landslide, by the way. He had 151 first-place votes. Next closest, 10. That is a domination. But when you get the entirety of the balloting, you learn Jordan Staal was 5th, one below Mitch Marner. But in first-place votes, Jordan Staal was 3rd. You would have had to be top 3 to be a finalist. So in first-place votes, if that's all that they count, if everybody only... Oh, no, sorry, I missed it. My notes are wrong. Shane Pinto would have been 3rd. He would have been 4th. Either way, he's top 5 pretty solidly, so credit to Jordan Staal. Sebastian Aho, 8th. And maybe even more interesting, I already brought up Mitch Marner. Jack Eichel from Vegas, also in the top 10. 4 of the top 10 are playing in the Stanley Cup Final. Almost like having forwards that are really good defensive hockey players is really a good way to win hockey games.
Staal and Aho have been consistently up there over the last few years. Now, Seth Jarvis normally is up there, but he wasn't quite as high this season. It was much, much lower.
Down there in 39th.
Yeah.
But if you include just the conference finals teams, 60% of the top 10 played for the 4 teams in the conference finals, including the winner in Nick Suzuki. Now, just basic math, 4 out of 30, 13% of the teams kept playing. 60% of the top 10 in the Selke were playing into the conference final. Again, two-way hockey a lot of times leads to wins. More finalists. Lady Bing, which is, we could just call it the Good Guy Award.
Yeah.
This is the first time since the 2018-2019 season Jacob Slavin has not been in the top 5.
Goon.
13th. He fell all the way to the 13th Good Guy. He also didn't play half the season.
Yeah.
So perhaps, they didn't have as many examples of him doing good guy things. Cole Caulfield from Montreal, the winner. As far as other Canes, let me scroll quickly here. Nikolai Ehlers, 19th. Keep scrolling. I do believe Sebastian Aho is in a tie for 47th. He had a single second-place vote.
Interesting.
And then there's the Jack Adams Award voting. Coach of the Year. Rod Brindamore, 9th.
Bruh.
But do you know what I find interesting? Obviously, with Vegas having their coaching changed, they're not on the list. But the 3 coaches that Rod has already beaten are all above him on the list. 5th, Martin St. Louis. Travis Green from Ottawa, 6th. And Toquette from Philly, 7th.
All right.
He's 9th. So, you got a couple more, hey, great job coaching awards. He got more, hey, beat ya awards. So, what you going to deal with? John Cooper won, by the way, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Be nice if everyone actually that was eligible to vote for that actually did vote.
There were a lot of, I guess, abstains. Like a lot of it didn't turn in a vote for the Jack Adams Award, which just seems like if you have a vote, use it. But what do I know?
If you have the privilege to vote in these types of things, you need to exercise that.
Not only vote, but do the research.
And do it. It truly is a privilege. I would love to vote for these awards. I genuinely would.
I'm always and I know that they send it to like everybody in the, like it's not a very exclusive deal, but I take it like as an honor that we get to vote for ACC preseason players of the year and things like that. And so much so that like I know it's very hard to judge offensive line. I will text people I know that work in the offensive line space, either coaches or former offensive linemen that are in the media now, and say like, hey, give me your Cliff Notes, because I take it. I don't want to be uneducated and pick poorly, but I want to make sure I do it. So, yeah, if you have the option, if you're invited, take it seriously. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one! As this is sent in, Ehlers goes diagonal for Aho. They'll go back and forth with it. Aho along the right wing boards. Back up top, it's Gostisbehere. Send it cross shot. Game over! Seth Jarvis wins it in overtime!
That's from game 2. Maybe the beauty and also part of the annoying deal of the NHL playoffs as a whole is pretty much the moment game 2 is over, you got to be looking towards game 3. It's a little bit like the NFL playoffs. I mean, you got a full week, right? The fans get to celebrate. You get to be extra jacked. If you win the conference championship, you get 2 weeks to get ready for the Super Bowl. A massive, potentially, depending how the rest of the season goes, franchise-changing win for the Canes last night. You got to be looking towards game 3. By now, hopefully for like 12 hours already, you've been looking towards game 3. So, Dennis, with game tomorrow at 8, I'm putting you on the spot. If blank happens, then not only do the Canes go to Vegas and do their thing, but they take a 2-1 series lead and wrestle home ice back away from the Vegas Golden Knights.
If Freddie Anderson's above 90% save percentage, they win.
I think that's probably pretty good for Canes games in general.
Yeah.
if you do that.
If he's above 90%, they win.
And how does that happen? It's not just Freddie, being unbelievable. It's also the types of shots they're allowing. It's the type of rushes they're allowing. If you make Freddie's job difficult, it's going to be difficult for him to be a 90 save guy. If you make his job a bit easier, if you take a little bit off his plate, as you have done for most of the postseason, he has proven he'll play winning hockey if you just do what Canes do, which is limit shots, block shots, do that whole thing that we've come to expect from Canes, from the Canes, I should say. And also, I just made that whole speech about like how they've got all these forwards that play great defensive hockey and how like back me up, go play a good defensive game in game 3 after all that. Like should have been higher in the Selke voting. Like go take some pucks away. That's what I'm looking for. Everybody with Stankoven energy. That's what I want to see. Everybody with relentless, actually Stankoven line energy. Taylor Hall, what is he going? 3 games without scoring? Something crazy?
2 games without a goal. He's due.
He's due, but also that line is still, you notice them.
Oh, yeah.
You still, they're relentless. In my head, every time Jackson Blake gets the puck, I go, do something cool, Jackson, because I know he has that like in his bag of tricks. I just want to see something cool every time. And I don't know if Taylor Hall, if Taylor Hall ever played football, I want the footage, because he rolls his shoulders forward when he gets in like aggressive mode, and he looks like an old school Mike Alstott runner, where he's like, I love me some contact. The only difference is he's so skilled that while he's doing that, he's also often handling the puck, or he's on ice. It's insane. But he rolls his shoulders forward like he has football pads on, and he's so strong. And I notice it when he wants to go bowl some people over. But yes, I think he and Blake are both kind of due for some goals. So
classic runs behind his pads kind of guy.
Yeah, run downhill, north-south runner. Even when he doesn't have, if he's going into the boards, that's why so often when you see guys, and there was a lot of this earlier in the postseason, when you see the guy that he's going to hit move at the last second, which is, makes certain hits more legal, because it's like, what do you expect him to do? The guy moved right as I was making contact. He's not changing, right? He's not coming in and like flinching or anything. He's in position to hit, and he is going to let you know. I just think that line is kind of due. So maybe we'll see it there. The drive, how crazy is it? First of all, that line has 1 million goals. They've a few guys have gone a game or two without scoring, and we're like, I think they're due. I think we've waited long enough. One of them scored the goal that sparked everything yesterday. I think they're due for more. Let's see what they can do in Game 3. Our expectations are bananas for that line. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to grab some numbers game contestants for you in a second. But first, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Something I want to make sure everyone is aware of when they're out there on the road is that just because we feel comfortable, if we're riding on the motorcycle, we feel the open air, we feel the breeze a little bit, it's hot out there. I think we all understand that. As a motorcycle rider, we use all parts of our body to keep our bike stable when we're out there on the road. And believe it or not, it can actually wear you down a little bit. So when the weather is hot like it is right now, build in some extra breaks. Build in some extra stops. That way you can rest and relax. Make sure you stay hydrated when you're out there on the road. That way you are safe, you're alert, and you can quickly respond to anything that's thrown out at you on the roads. You have to be able to react quickly in case you might get thrown into a dangerous situation as you're a motorcycle rider. Because as a motorcycle rider, you have to assume that nobody sees you. Assume that nobody sees you. Do everything you can to be safe when you're out there on the road. And you can do all the right things to be safe, and accidents can still happen. That's why you got to give Law Tigers a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Even before you contact the insurance company if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, needs numbers game contestants. Call in now if you want to play. The number, 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and battle for the prize, which, for today, is a pair of tickets to see Clint Black and Midland at DPAC on October 23rd.
Ooh.
Clint Black and Midland. That got you excited there, Dennis. Ooh. If you are excited, you got to win them. Got to call in. You got to handle your business. Not just giving them away. You have to earn them by winning the numbers game. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. Call in to play the numbers game. It's coming up next.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons with Adam Gold in The Drive for our Cup check-in, served up by Carolina Ale House. We talk with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup check-in on 99.9 The Fan, served up by Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House is the official Canes road game HQ. Join them for every game during the playoffs.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. If you're planning a summer road trip, car trouble is the last thing you want to deal with. Small issues can turn into big disruptions once you're on the road. Before you go, Chapel Hill Tire will give you a full bumper-to-bumper inspection to make sure your vehicle is ready for the heat and the miles ahead, so you can spend less time worrying about your car and more time enjoying the trip. Book your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Hey everybody, it's Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. And FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. And now that we've reached the NBA Finals, you've got more ways to build and certainly more value every time you play. Stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every finals moment. From spreads to player points to 3 balls and more, you can build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. And you got plenty of chances. If you're betting same-game parlays during the NBA postseason and final season, you can bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head on over to FanDuel.com/Paul and get started. FanDuel.com/Paul. That's Paul with a capital P. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Somebody out there is going to get lucky again. We have an open line. So if you want to go ahead and win tickets to see Clint Black, call in right now. You can be thrown straight into the fire, straight into the competition, straight into a chance to win the numbers game and win the tickets. 919-860-5326. It's been happening a little bit recently. We've had these little dropouts. Maybe the patience is wearing thin with some of you. But 919-860-5326. Call in now if you want to play the numbers game and potentially win tickets to see country music superstar. And just because this happened to me, 1, 2, 3, like we have a call online, but we have four times yesterday out at the tailgate. People told me, I love the numbers game. I don't go to my house after my commute until the numbers game is done. And I said, thank you. I appreciate that. Have you played? And they go, oh, no, I haven't played. I'd be too nervous. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. But that does mean you can't tease or make fun of or go, oh my gosh, how did they not know this one? So if you're out there, you're listening, especially if you're like a die-hard numbers game fan, I need you to go ahead and call in and play a few times. That's what I'm saying. All right, we have our contestants now. We have Gina, we have Brian, Gina and Wendell, Brian and Gardner, and they will be battling it out for jersey number trivia supremacy and the Clint Black tickets. We'll start with asking them both the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first, and we'll go from there. Gina and Wendell, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. The question, as it often is on Fridays, is we are looking ahead at the weekend. What are you looking forward to most about the weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure you keep it sports related.
Well, sleeping in late's not sports related. I'm looking forward to the hockey game tomorrow night.
All right. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No questions.
All right. We move to Brian and Gardner. Brian, can you hear me?
I sure can.
All right. Same question to you. It is a Friday. We are staring ahead at the weekend. What are you looking forward to most about the weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure it's sports related.
Listen, we've got NHL Cup Finals and we got NBA Finals. What can be a better weekend than that?
All right. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No questions.
All right. Then, Dennis, you get to choose between sleeping in and hockey game or NBA playoffs or NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals.
Sleeping in and the Stanley Cup Final sounds perfect right now. Especially, I didn't leave the arena till 1:30 last night, so it's sleeping in and the NHL Final sounds perfect. I'm going to go with Gina on this one.
All right, Gina gets to go first. Don't worry, Brian, you'll have your shot. Just have to stay on hold for a minute or two. Gina, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL, Panthers only, Major League Baseball players that have hit 3 home runs in a single game, NBA, players that played in the 2026 playoffs, or NHL Hurricanes only?
Let's do NHL Hurricanes only.
All right. All right. The way this works, I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. It'll be 30 seconds on the clock, 1 pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I don't think so.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Nikolai Ehlers, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Correct. Keandre Miller, Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, shoot. 17.
Incorrect. Dylan Coughlin, Carolina Hurricanes.
I don't know.
Say a number.
28.
Incorrect. Keandre Miller, Carolina Hurricanes.
19.
Correct. John Michael Lyles, Carolina Hurricanes.
I don't know. 12.
Incorrect. Dylan Coughlin, Carolina Hurricanes.
78.
Incorrect. Your honesty was exceptional. Your knowledge of Canes beyond current year roster maybe not as great, but you got Ehlers, you got Miller, so that is 2. You are the leader in the clubhouse. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up, okay? And for those of you playing at home, Coughlin is 15 and Lyles is 26. That's what we were looking for.
Current enemy Dylan Coughlin.
Yeah, that's I don't make the lists, but that's he is currently on the Golden Knights.
He had 2 massive shot blocks yesterday.
Which is a very Canes thing to do.
I know.
It's like, wait, we taught you. You're going over there and using it against us.
Well, it's funny because he came to Carolina from Vegas.
Yeah, so it's hard to claim
full
him.
circle moment.
Hard to claim him. Either way, 2 is the number to win or the number to beat. We'll see if Brian can do it. Brian, can you hear me?
I can hear you guys.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, Panthers only, Major League Baseball players that have hit 3 home runs in a single game, or NBA players that appeared in the 2026 playoffs.
Let's do NBA playoffs.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You do need at least 3 for the victory. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I don't. Let's do it.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Josh Hart, New York Knicks.
7.
Incorrect. Dylan Harper, San Antonio Spurs.
9.
Incorrect. Josh Harper, New York Knicks.
3.
Correct. Rudy Gobert, Minnesota Timberwolves.
32.
Incorrect. Dylan Harper, San Antonio Spurs.
11.
Incorrect. Rudy Gobert, Minnesota Timberwolves.
0.
Incorrect. Dylan Harper, San Antonio Spurs.
17.
That would not have been correct, and it was after the buzzer. You did get Josh Hart to avoid the shutout. Unfortunately, not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
I did. Go Canes, guys.
Go Canes. For those of you playing at home, Dylan Harper, we were looking for number 2, and Rudy Gobert, 27 is the number we were looking for. But either way, Gina is the winner. Gina, congratulations.
Thank you.
You have a pair of tickets coming your way to see Clint Black with Midland at DPAC on October 23rd. So enjoy that. Just stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info to make sure you get your tickets.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. It's very rare that we have somebody that tells us in the middle of the game that I don't know, like 2 or 3 times, and then still wins. That's it's a difficult.
She knew enough.
Yeah, she knew enough. Ehlers and Miller, which, by the way, having pretty good postseasons.
Not bad.
Not bad. So I get why she knew those numbers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Kalshi. The hunt for the Stanley Cup is on, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every series, every conference finals, and now, obviously, that we're here, you can trade the championship. At the moment, it's about 50% for either team to win the cup, but if you're looking at the Conn Smythe trading, somebody like Logan Stankoven that has scored a bunch of goals is trading at just 12% to win the Conn Smythe, meaning a $100 trade could pay out over $800 if it ends up coming true. That's how it works. And you can trade in and out of your positions at any time because on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as those possibilities, those probabilities fluctuate, you can buy in and out of your position. Right? If you're picking someone for the Conn Smythe, they have a hat trick in a game, their probability goes way out. You could buy out of that position right then and there. That's how it works. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD to get $10 when you trade 10. By the way, no spaces in that code. TIMD with no spaces. Kalshi, 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 trade on anything. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. There's only one thing left to do on a Friday at this time on The Drive, and that's send you out into the weekend the right way by making some picks. We'll do just that right after this.
The Adam Gold Show.
I've never understood why the general public cares a lick about television ratings. Unless you work for the networks or maybe the league. Who cares if people in Winnipeg or Los Angeles or Miami are watching or not? Let them do what they want. We've got the Stanley Cup Finals. We got two of the best teams in the sport. Let's have at it.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Stop by Handy Hugo's for great deals on your favorite Pepsi products. Head to Handy Hugo's today. Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan with Dr. Brenna Houlihan from Wake Med. She's here to educate us a little bit more on Men's Health Month. Now, we've been talking about colonoscopies and whether someone is considering or not to have colorectal cancer screenings because they're experiencing some irregular symptoms. What are those symptoms that people might see that you would recommend they seek care for?
So some of the symptoms you see is really just change in your bowel habits. You know, you go from being sort of regular one way, it gets skinnier, it changes in consistency. That's something to keep in mind, and as well as bleeding. However, most colon cancers are asymptomatic or without any symptoms for a very long time. So even if you're not having those symptoms, make sure you stay within those screening windows and make sure you're getting those screening colonoscopies, even if you don't have a single symptom.
Wow, really important to pay super close attention to certain things. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Houlihan. And if you have any questions or want to find a provider local to you, you can visit wakemed.org.
What does it mean to win this award to you?
It means a lot to me, just being recognized for all my hard work on and off the court.
The Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month from 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union. To nominate your athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
If you've ever reached for a cheers when your favorite song comes on, you're ready to embrace the haze with Hazy Little Thing from Sierra Nevada. Hazy, citrusy, smooth, juicy but not sweet, hoppy but not bitter, America's best-selling hazy IPA for good reason. Hazy Little Thing, enjoy responsibly.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I do want to say this just because tomorrow there will be a Canes game, but we will obviously it's in Vegas. We will not be outside the Lenovo Center doing our show live. But thank you to everybody that stops out and says nice things and hangs out with us and
for real
lets us know that they, hey, we listen to you every day when we're driving home from work, or little things like, I don't get out of my car till the numbers game is done. We don't say it enough, but you guys are awesome. And we are not oblivious to the fact that, we get to, as some kind of a passenger on the ride that the Canes have been on, we get to hitch our wagon to that behemoth because of all of you and because you listen to the show and interact with us online and try to win stuff when we're giving it away. So thank you to everybody that came out and said nice words. Thank you to everybody that just listens to the show and doesn't go out of their way to say nice words, because that's completely unnecessary. We appreciate you all. So thank you for all of that. Really means a lot. We love interacting. And then also,
we genuinely enjoy meeting you all.
Oh, yeah,
we
sure.
genuinely do.
For sure. It's still crazy that we talked about sports, which is something I would do anyway. And then people want to take pictures and stuff. It doesn't compute in my brain, but I appreciate it nonetheless. With that being said, every Friday we deliver on making picks going into the weekend. And part of the reason why I believe you guys like us, if you do like us, is because we deliver what we say we're going to deliver. So, Dennis, line it up. Let's make some picks heading out into the weekend.
Making picks. Making picks.
It makes me giggle every time.
I'm not ashamed by that.
No, absolutely not. Why would you?
Exactly. Why would I be ashamed by that? Let's actually go to the association, which, by the way, tonight, the NBA Final, you can actually listen to Game 2 right here on 99.9 The Fan. You can actually listen to that here tonight. So, no Canes action tonight. We still got you covered with basketball, folks. So you're all covered. You're all square. Let's actually go to the NBA Finals. Tonight, the New York Knicks taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Knicks with a 1-0 series lead. The Knicks at home are underdogs.
Yep.
Plus 6.5.
I am trapped. I am in a rock and a hard place situation because I've been on the record for the entire NBA playoffs saying whoever wins the Western Conference is the NBA champion. I called the Western Conference Finals the real NBA Finals. But I also am on the record many, many times saying I love a home dog. I absolutely love a home dog. I think it's Spurs. I think Game 1 is going to upset Wembanyama enough that he's going to be dunking on people. I think it's Spurs. Earlier in my bold predictions, I said it's Spurs by a bunch. If I'm taming my prediction a little bit, I think it's Spurs by 6 or 7, but I think it's Spurs. I think they win. I think they tie up the series. I would love it if, obviously, I'll take a Canes win anytime, any way I can get in the NHL. But it would be really fun if we have Game 7s, like back-to-back nights or something like that. If we can,
awesome.
If we can time it out to just have the most exciting 2 words in sports in both leagues at around the same time, it would be electric. So tie it up, go 1-1. Let's keep these series as classics moving forward.
All right, let's actually, real quick, let's shift focus over here to college baseball, just taking place right down the road in Chapel Hill. UNC baseball at home had a 5-1 lead. They now trail 9-5 in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, they gave up 5 runs in the 6th. That's not what you want to do.
Dude went yard there in the top of the 6th.
So
who wins the regional? Who wins the super regional? Chapel Hill or do things hold here in USC?
This is essentially a 3-game series.
Yeah, it's
right?
a 3-game series, yeah.
I think Carolina still wins. Obviously, baseball, it's really tough. Baseball, and actually, I'd say hockey is next most, but it's a big sample size sport that in the postseason, you can't really do that, right? You can't. Back in the day, the World Series was like best of 11. It was best of 9 for a while.
Yeah, it was always like predetermined just before the series.
Because big sample sizes, right? That's how you find the best baseball team. So crazy things happen, but I still believe that Carolina is kind of far and away the better team here. So give me Carolina. Obviously, odds stacked against them a bit here in this game. They're now down 9-5 in the top of the 7th. But it's they got more opportunities beyond this. I think their depth can kick in and they'll win the 3-game series.
By the way, that was a grand slam at the top of the 6th inning. I knew a dude went yard and I realized the bases were actually loaded.
That's going to be a big game changer for you.
Yeah,
that's gonna be something that changes the outcome a little bit. But they're now piling on some runs in the next inning as well. So Carolina sprung a leak a little bit here.
I say at baseball, there's no time. Like it's just outs.
True. I mean, this one can keep going forever.
Let's actually shift focus here to another sport here, Tim. One of your favorites. Our Carolina Chaos taking on the Utah Archers. This game, a true home game. It's being played down in Charlotte. Face-off, actually, for that game's in about 10 minutes. Our Carolina Chaos, 1.5 goal favorites.
Speaking of, you might be hearing from somebody. I don't even know if you're aware of this. Our listener, his name is Gage. He is a college student. I talked to him for a class project a while ago.
Okay.
Just needed to talk to someone in the industry for like a career class or something like that.
Sure.
But he came up during the tailgate yesterday during our show.
Oh, okay.
During one of the commercials, and he was like, "Hey," and I said hi. And he's worked his way into some play-by-play at his school.
Nice.
And he's doing lacrosse.
Oh, okay, sweet.
And I went, well, I can tell you, say infraction and try to get out of there without showing that you don't know what you're talking about, because that's all of my experience calling lacrosse. But I did say, like, if you need lacrosse help, that would be Dennis's area. So perhaps you might be hearing. His name is Gage.
Okay.
So be prepared for that one. All of that to say, I don't have any lacrosse expertise, so I will tap you in and say, what question did you ask me, Carolina Chaos?
Chaos, true home game because they're in Charlotte taking on the Utah Archers.
We did talk to their coach.
Yeah, Stephen Brooks.
So I'm going to pick the Chaos. Is that crazy?
No.
All right, then, picking the Chaos.
They're favored by 1.5.
Oh, they're going to cover that. They're going to win by 4.
Yeah, money line minus 160.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then tomorrow, the Chaos back-to-back games, they take on the Denver Outlaws.
I do like that. They're almost like a barnstorming league. Like they go like town to town, so you get your money's worth for a weekend if you go check out the team when they're at home. So who are they playing tomorrow?
Tomorrow they get the Chaos take on the Denver Outlaws. So when you're the home team, you play 2 games. Yep. It's hot. I don't know.
Oh, you thinking there's gonna be a conditioning factor?
There's money on the money line. They're plus 110 on the money line against Denver.
And Denver, right? That's elevation. So if they're practicing there, they get. They're extra. They're superstars in the cardio category. Chaos win, I would normally say by 4, but with everything we just discussed, they'll win by 2.
Okay. So they're going to
cut it in half.
So you'll take the plus 1.5 as well.
Absolutely.
Sprinkle a money line in there?
Absolutely.
I like this, Tim.
By the way, I always like to be upfront. I will not put any of my own actual money on anything lacrosse related. So if you're tailing my picks, just know that if you lose, I won't feel bad because I didn't put any of my own money on it, and I told you I did not put any of my money on it.
And if you win, you're welcome.
If you win, if you tell it and you get it right, then kick me some profits.
Right?
I want to have all of the benefits and none of the exposure. That's my goal here.
All right, let's go to the ice tomorrow.
Let's do it.
There are a few things I want to break down here in this one, Tim. Let's actually get into some prop stuff before we actually get into the pick tomorrow for the Carolina Hurricanes and Vegas Golden Knights. So again, reminder, this game's in Vegas. It's 5 o'clock local time out there. So no morning skate for the guys. A little bit of a different adjustment in terms of time of day and all that kind of stuff. The over-under set at 5.5 goals for tomorrow.
I said under last game.
You did.
I still think it was like for a 4-3 game, it was very under 5.5 because for 50 of the 60 minutes, it was an under game. And then
that's why they play 60 plus.
And then they scored 1 million of them in the last 14 minutes or whatever it ended up being, including the overtime. I think there's going to – I'm very tempted to say under again, if I'm being real. I'm very tempted to say under. I think at some point this series is going to tighten up a little bit and goals are going to become more difficult to come by. But at the same time, the best indicator of future results is past results, and we got 5-4 and 4-3 coming down the pipe. So give me the over. I would tread lightly. This is like a half unit pick, but give me the over because the goaltenders are not standing on their head by any stretch.
Okay, so the over 5.5 is a minus 125. Under is a plus 105.
Yeah, I'm still taking the over.
Okay. Let's see if they actually have some individual prop picks and stuff available here as well. Let's actually go with shots on goal because I know this is a fun one to do. Seth Jarvis over under 3.5 shots on goal.
Give me over.
All right.
He just scored a game winner in overtime. The goal is going to look like a soccer goal to him. He's going to be letting that bad boy fly.
Nikolai Ehlers over under 2.5 shots on goal.
How many shots on goal did he have last game? I'm not sure if I'm remembering that.
He had himself a total of 4 shots on goal.
Yeah, give me the over. Yeah,
all
2
right.
goals and then 4, and the over-under is, 2.5? Yeah, give me the over. He'll hit that over.
Sebastian Aho over under 2.5.
Under. He's still I think he gets 2 good looks, but he's still passing a lot.
He had 4 shots on goal yesterday.
True.
And he had like 9 shot attempts.
All right, you've convinced me. Go the other way.
Okay.
Take the over.
Taylor Hall, 2.5 over under shots on goal.
Somebody's got to be under. They won't have 45 shots, so I'm going Taylor Hall under because he's the one you asked me last.
All right, let's actually go to the actual game itself here. We got 30 seconds. Here's the money line. Canes minus 108, Vegas minus 112. So Vegas slightest of favorites in this one.
Canes win. I'm going back to it 3-2. Dennis, what's your pick? What's the score?
Give me Vegas actually wins this one 3-2.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Those are our picks. Overdrive coming up next. We'll be back on Monday to break it down. Everybody enjoy the game right here on 99.9 The Fan. Enjoy the weekend. And we're going to end it with, Go Canes, everybody. See you on Monday.
1 goal.
Let's go Canes.
Hall coming in. Backhand, Dobishek. Blake to the rebound. He scores! Oh, the Hurricanes are just pouring it on.
Hoist Lord Stanley's Cup.
Let's go Canes. Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the chance.
Your official home for the Eastern Conference champion Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
A bull riding contest. I'm signing up.
You've never ridden a bull.
No, but I won playing a new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-off, and I'm on a roll.
But they're loaded with $50, $100, and $200 prizes.
Oh, I'm riding the Widowmaker.